Welcome, everybody, to Homestead-Miami Speedway. Race 2 of 25 in the 7-Bar Barbecue A-Square Cup Series season takes us a little bit closer to South Beach. After a week in Daytona, we had to spend another week here in Florida, here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, a 1.5-mile oval. Very unique compared to other 1.5-mile ovals, but a favorite among both fans and drivers alike. 44 drivers will have to try to qualify their way in. One driver will fail to qualify and go home. The Black Acid 220 here from Homestead-Miami Speedway is coming right at you here on ABM. I'm Carmen, Sienna, alongside me as always Kevin Young, the voice of the A-Square Cup Series all season long. We had a wild race at Daytona, and now we have to shift our efforts from plate racing, from the draft racing, now to focusing on the traditional style of racing that has excelled in these 7th generation cars, intermediates. Save your tires, work the lanes, be unpredictable, and try to move to the front if you don't qualify up there. It's in the driver's hands more than ever here tonight, with qualifying not too far away. Kevin, welcome to the booth for your first points race of the season. Homestead is, as we mentioned, a favorite among fans and drivers. What are we looking at here as far as how this race should shake out once we get racing?
If I unmute my mic, I will be able to tell you exactly what I'm thinking. We see this track is going to be high dominated. It's multi-line, multi-grooved, where drivers can kind of take different lines and how they seem fit. But it seems to be the Pied Piper likes to lean towards the high side. But we know, for the very least from real-life experience, if we get some late restarts, we're going to see drivers go high, low, 3, 4 wide, heading off into corners, just trying to find that lane and trying to find that clean air, trying to give themselves a chance to run their way to the front. So watch multi-line racing happening here as drivers just scary for position to try to find a way towards the front.
Absolutely. One of the drivers that'll be a focal point here is the driver center of your screen, Chris Fleming. He did a fantastic job in Daytona, grabbing a win as a rookie. It was rookies dominating the top 10, with Fleming and Steve Tucker finishing 1-2 ahead of Bryn Roberts in last week's event. Fleming now with a little bit less pressure. He's 16th right now, fastest in practice. Steve Tucker, who said he was very optimistic about Homestead, is currently fastest at the moment here in practice. You can see the timer about a little under 6 minutes to go before we get into qualifying here. And we're going to see a lot about what these drivers can do now that we're away from the draft track of Daytona. It's going to be a very interesting run to kick things off for you here. We do have a chance to kind of go over some things here at Homestead. Obviously, you look at the different portfolio of this racetrack, 1.5 miles compared to the 2.5 miles of Daytona. You're going to see a lot of cars try to figure out what lanes they're running in this race. Whether you want to run the bottom near that white line, whether you want to run where Fleming's at right now, and that's close to the top. This track has got some progressive banking to it. All those lanes are viable. You're gonna have to try to figure out where you're comfortable at the quickest, and those that get it figured out and can adjust on the fly typically do the best here, and we're gonna see a little bit of that. The driver that excels in that is the #1 car of John Hagan, defending series champion, was in the mix in Daytona last week, ended up finishing in the top 5. This is a chance for him to get back into his winning ways here in the ARCS A-Square Cup Series.
If there's any driver, if there's any driver that it's going to be not a shout of doubt to maybe say that's going to be a short time around to find victory, I think John Hagan would be the top of that list, because if you do take your mind back to last year when Homestead was the finale race, John Hagan came in trying to win the championship and ended up winning the championship in a dominating fashion. So Hagan definitely can adapt on the fly at these tracks and can be quite strong indeed, because we pivot nicely to the 31 machine currently going around the track as well, trying to find those high and low lines, get comfortable as Zach Millett. Now obviously was not at Homestead last year, had just a situational incident that he could not end up making the race, did not make the Final Four in the same regard due to an incident in the previous week. Maybe going for a bit of redemption here. Another driver that we don't really know what he can do at Homestead. We haven't seen him drive around here other than these opening practice laps. However, he is someone that can adapt on the fly and can take whatever's thrown at him, as his high win total last season can show. So we'll have to keep an eye on this 31 as well, as this is kind of a chance to flex his muscle and kind of show what he is and how he belongs. And you can see his teammate and team boss behind him in Brandon Featherplace.
Absolutely. And I stand corrected here. There were 44 cars when we went on the air here on ABM that were lined up ready to go for 43 spots. That is now 46 cars for 43 spots. So 3 open cars are going to go home. For those that missed out on qualifying for the Drip Diecast 500 last week, there are 40 locked-in entries. Those are all team cars. There's 10 teams, 4 cars each for those 10 teams. And then there's 3 open spots every race. That is typically fine and dandy, all well and good, until you get to a situation like this where you have 6 open cars in the field. So there's going to be a few cars going home here as we keep an eye on things. Obviously, you look at the 26 just now on track. That's Chris Gones. I don't know if he's on a team or not. If Kevin can find that for me here, but he just joined in.
Is. I'm going to check that too right now, opening up the team's results here, because a lot of shifting has happened. Gones is currently...
I believe the 26 is an open car.
It is an open car. You are correct. So he is one of those cars that will have to try to drive his way in. So Gones is not locked in. Another driver as well, Ryan Pinnell in the 12. He is also an open car, even though he is the owner of Presidential. He is not.
So Mark Deal is another open car. Actually, I think I have a list of the open cars here. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right, so we have Chris Gones, Nicholas Martinez Jr., who did
pole
really well
for the
at Daytona.
500.
Yeah. Blake Galloway in the 05.
72 of Brian Johnson, I believe, is one as
72
well.
72 of Brian Johnson. The 10 of Kyle St. John, who is just now getting around the 68 of Jared Merchant. You talk about Ryan Pinnell as well. I'm trying to make sure. And you already said that. You already said the 72 of Brian Johnson. There's our 6.
Yep. Yep. So those are the 6 fighting for 3 spots here. Currently, the slowest 3 is Gones, Johnson, and St. John are the current 3 slowest. Actually, Mark Dila would be the 3 slowest. St. John is currently in 33rd. So obviously, these drivers will find out in push and shove time here, as qualifying is in about 40 seconds time here. It's going to be only 2 laps, so drivers will get 2 attempts. It's not going to be like if you did tune in Daytona. It will not be like that. It's not going to be every car going once. Everyone will go in a single, everyone will go at once pretty much in that 10-minute time frame. You'll have 2 laps to put down a decent time. So it's put up or shut up, and this is where being an open car can kind of be a bit struggly in a sense, as you don't know what you do. If you get like a slight little wiggle coming off of 1 and 2 on your second lap, that could be curtains depending on your first lap. So it's about finding the balance, and do you go for something conservative that you know can get you in the field? Do you try to go for a pole run to give yourself a good spot? Or if you may not have to speed at all, do you go foot to the pedal to try to get in at all? So we'll have to see. Steve Tucker pull on over here. He will be the fastest in the practice session, but will that hold during qualifying? Only one way to find out, and we'll see this up here coming up next.
Absolutely. Obviously, Steve Tucker was fastest in the practice session there. We're going to see how everyone resets and gets ready for the running here in qualifying at Homestead. Green flag now displayed. We're going to see who's got it here in Homestead, not Daytona. Let's see. One of the cars coming out here. Let's look at the substitute driver, Connor Morris. He is getting ready to run here in the number 3 for Carolina Bugle Racing, filling in for what has been a merry-go-round for that car since Daytona. Connor Morris in the 3 car, filling in for Steven Oberstedt now in that Carolina Bugle Racing team.
On the bright side, unlike for the 500, where he was one of the last cars to get in, at the very least now, he has a guaranteed seat for Homestead, so I have to be a bit careful. Don't want to rack up any penalty points. I know a few drivers have already put themselves in the hole that they would not like to be in, so make sure you keep your license clean here, and he's going to hit the wall a little bit. Luckily, he will not invalidate coming to the line. However, he'll have to keep these 2 laps clean, and that's another thing to keep an eye on, as well as the wall can be a bit unforgiving. Give it too hard of a hit, that will invalidate the run. So if you're going to play with fire on the high side, you're going to have to be able to make sure you do not invalidate your run, and be careful. So right now, Morris obviously keeping it clean through 1 and 2 there, not touching the wall, flirting with danger though. as he'll send it off into 3 and 4. Take a bit of a lower line here, not taking the Reddick or the Larson line we see in real life. As he comes off of 4 here, where will that number 3 for Carolina Beagle slot itself? He'll come across the line now. Lap number 1 will be the fastest, but instantly bumped off by Seth Wanzing. We'll have to see if the second lap is going to be the money lap or the first lap will be the quickest opportunity for these drivers. He gets a wiggle there, and it looks like it'll be run done. And now, John Hagen, he was doing those wobbles outside the access road, so really trying to get those tires up to heating quickly in order to try to put down the most competitive time he can, as he'll come off of 4 here to start his first lap.
Yeah, this is John Hagen, center of your screen, the number 1 car, beginning his run, expected to be up there near the front of the field. Jonathan Adams currently provisional pole ahead of Cody Pennell and Josh Gaiman. Nicholas Martinez Jr. just put himself in safety, 4th fastest in the 48 car, qualifying well once again in Florida. And Kyle St. Jean goes top 6.
All right, so both those drivers looking poised to stay clean at the moment, unless everything falls on its head. Right now, Delela, Johnson, and those 2 are currently the 2 slowest. We'll have to see who the 3rd one is, as obviously times will fall down here. But as Hagen comes across the line again here, he will slot himself only good enough for P5 behind at least 2 open cars. So not going to be the greatest run for the defending race winner of Homestead, as he will now finish his second lap here. Well, start, I guess, halfway through his second lap.
Yeah, really good run there. Chris Goins on his lap right now. He's got to make something count. He is 24th fastest at the moment. Mark Dila is the slowest of the open cars that have set a lap time so far. Ryan Pennell needs to set a lap time still. So does Blake Galloway. So Mark Dila not in a good spot. Chris Goins not in relative safety just yet. He is ahead of Brian Johnston though. So if one of the other 2 of Galloway or Ryan Pennell, if they qualify behind Chris Goins, he's safe and in here for the Black Acid T20.
Yep. By the way, Hagen has jumped up to pole position, so he will be our provisional pole sitter here. With over 6 minutes to go, Chris Goins finished up his second run, good enough for 17th. So right now, again, as we wait for more cars to file off here, Ryan Pennell just started his flying lap of 2, it seems. So he now knows the time he has to beat. And this is kind of an interesting point. Being an open car, I would actually probably like to go last, or at least near the end of the time limit, because
you know what you're running for.
Yeah. It's like college football. You want defense first, so you know what you have to beat in order to get into the show. But some drivers provisionally like to go out there early and just set the time and hope they cannot get beat by the cars around them.
Yeah, it's like decision day either in football or in MLS, where you have that early block of games and you can usually tell, depending on how the opening goes, where you need to finish. Ryan Pennell, first lap, only 37 fastest, not safe enough. He is behind Brian Johnson. He's ahead of Mark Dila, though, but not good enough if he's going to try to make the race here. Ryan Pennell said that this is likely his last season. It's reflected on his number 12 machine. He would like to not kick off the season with a D&Q. With 46 cars, remember, 3 open cars go home. Ryan Pennell, one of them. El Presidente has never failed to qualify for an A-Square Cup Series race.
He will improve up to 26.
That did a lot better. Dila in 42nd fastest at the moment. He is confirmed out. Brian Johnson, the 72. 34th. He is also right now confirmed out.
And then the 3rd car at the moment, Chris Goins is ahead of Ryan Pennell, and obviously St. John and the 48 are ahead.
Yeah, Blake Galloway is also safe. Now, let me make sure, Kevin, if you can for me real quick, make sure the 12 is not a chartered entry and that Ryan Pennell is a fill-in driver.
He is not, because when the transactions happened during the opening part of the season, the 12 relinquished his ride to a few other cars, including some other names. Right now in presidential racing, the 4 charter teams are the 21 of Huck, the 6 of Rupert, the 76 of Angel, and the 88 of Ethan Wood, or the 4 confirmed entries for presidential. So he is an open car that will have to try to qualify his way in, as we see James Mendez, one of the last few cars to set a time here, as we got over 4 minutes to go here. He, along with Brian Dixon, Elthridge George, and Bren Roberts, are going to be the last 4 to go here. And I believe Dixon, George, and Roberts are obviously not open cars. I believe the same thing for Mendez. So
yeah, I have to check on Mendez here. I'm not entirely certain if Mendez is an open car or not, because that may open a line up here. Mendez is finishing his first lap now in the 92 machine, and he only goes 36 fastest.
Well, let's see here. Just confirming through the list here of names. I'm not seeing a Mendez at this moment, and there is not a Mendez. So Mendez is going to be an open car. So that could be the lifeline Pennell needs, because at the moment he's ahead of 2 drivers, and we have 46 entries.
Yeah, it'd be Mendez, Johnson, and Dila.
At the moment, unless Mendez can have a second lap, he'll have to go higher than 27th and beat a 33.66 across the line. It's going to be well good enough.
Oh, my goodness.
Big
17th
lap.
fastest there for Mendez. 17th, and that would put, regardless of the question mark, Ryan Pennell now sitting on the outside looking in. Bryn Roberts goes 24th on his first lap.
And that is it. And obviously, Roberts is going to be the last lap here. Yeah, one more lap to put down a time to try to challenge for pole, but there is no question on his eligibility. So that means the 3 open cars are going to be St. John, I should say.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be more than 3 open cars in, because I think there's some charter cars that are out. It's Dila, Johnson, and Pennell that are out, though. And
yeah,
Bryn
that's
Roberts
why.
just tagged the wall.
Yep, so Penn Roberts' second lap will not count here. He'll finish off on 24th, just confirming, yep, that lap has been invalidated. So that means John Hagan will go clear of the board, as we'll see the times flip around the board here. He ran a 33.18. Jonathan Adams, 33.34, so a blistering lap for the #1 machine. And it'll be well clear of pole position here, with Cody Pennell, Brandon Featherplace, and Josh Gaiman running out the top 5, and Kyle St. John being the fastest of the open machines.
John Hagan missed out on getting the JTT pole award last time out. It was Michael Lawrence that got the Just the Top pole award in Daytona. John Hagan will add himself to that list, though, as the second pole position of the season. And it's familiar faces at the front of the field. It's Hagan and Adams, two that have worked really close together over the last couple of years. They will run the field to green when we get going here in Homestead. As you mentioned, Cody Pennell, he's looking pretty good right now. Featherplace looking at home as well. Josh Gaiman, who did not have a great time at Daytona. I actually believe missed out on Daytona altogether. So this is his first chance to make some points. He is well down in the point standings. And then Kyle St. John in the sixth and the third row as well, P6. Brian Dixon looking well as a rookie as well. Steve Tucker, who was fastest in practice, is 8th. Nicholas Martinez Jr., who led the most laps at Daytona last week, alongside Matthew Kent in row number 5. And that is your top 10 as things run along here. So time beginning the run out here, where I believe we're to the point now where even if a 47th car did pop in, they would not have enough time to run a lap. So everything's looking pretty well set and confirmed. So John Hagan, Just the Top pole award winner here for Homestead. It's almost showtime here. So we'll go over the full running order as far as the starting grid and who's in and who's out here in just a moment. Obviously, everyone just kind of running through things here in Daytona, here in Homestead. I'm still saying Daytona because I've been in Daytona so much the last 4 weeks. It has been a wild time. We're away from. We're still in Florida too. We're in Florida on Wednesday for the Champ Car World Series at Sebring. So we're still in the same state. It's all mushing together.
The virtual tour of Florida. You go south, and then you're going to go a little bit more to the west and north, and then eventually we'll get out of Florida. Next week, obviously, I'm going to Bristol Dirt, as I think Winston starts up next week. And you'll be heading back to Daytona. So I'm out of Florida after this. You, on the other hand, you might have another week in virtual land in Florida.
Yeah, I am feeling it, Mr. Krabs. I am feeling it right now.
At least the weather's nice.
Yeah, I guess. So qualifying done and dusted here. And Kevin, you can keep an eye on the official chatter to see who's in and who's out. I believe we had it pretty well nailed that it was Mark Dila, Brian Johnson, and Ryan Pennell. But there's so many movements that happen here. So many cars that, have substitute drivers or need substitute drivers. 2 notable ones. We saw Connor Morris in the 3 car. The other substitute car is the 43, which has Brian Messer in it, instead of Tommy Withers. And actually, Brian Messer is actually on track. There is a incorrectly numbered number 43. That is supposed to be the 43 of Brian Messer. As you can see there, we have our end correct. It just isn't correct for him.
Yeah, that is a bit interesting.
I want to reset trading paints real quick just to make sure that I'm seeing things correctly.
I'm checking a scheme too for you as well. I got 43 on my screen. He's in a Bass Pro Shop Tracker scheme. So
that is not what I'm seeing. So we'll just see if we can get that reset. Because I see a Black Rifle Coffee Machine, number 51.
Yeah. Obviously just giving you a clue what I'm seeing. So it is a your end issue, not a overall issue with him.
So don't want those that joined in late in the session too, because I've been in here for a little bit. So that makes sense. Zach Millet, though, we know his car is looking fine. The 31 car, the Toyota. One of the Boy Esports cars. Looking for a chance to get on the right track and get a race win.
What's interesting to note as we watch that, looking at some of the drivers leaving out, obviously you're right, Johnson, Dila. Pressy was also in the session, but did not take a lap. So he will, even though didn't get off the trailer in time, he'll be another driver that will end up taking a early hour here.
Pressy did take a qualifying lap.
He did? I didn't see him on the board.
All 46 cars ran laps.
Okay.
So I believe he was just kind of middle of the road. I don't think he was obviously wasn't top 10, but he wasn't bottom 15 either. I think he was like in that like 13th to 25th range.
Maybe. One other thing to note as well, Steve Tucker seems to have had a connection issue here. He's just rejoined, so he's got 2 minutes to get back in here. Well, yeah, about 2 minutes right now. Yeah. We'll have plenty of time, but there is a bit of a concern because we do know, at least through the new iRacing updates, there is possibilities of flags if connectivity issues persist. Obviously,
not in
that
place
may not
yet.
Been approved. Not in place yet, but it is coming in the next update, so you have to be wary of your connection in those regards. Obviously, A-Squared will go over those rules and apply them or not, depending on how they feel. But for at least next couple weeks until the next update is live, that is not the case. But for wary travelers, they'll have to be wary of their connection. And even if he wasn't, and he was blinking all over the place, race control would tell him to trip to the back in those regards. So paint still not updated for the 43, so we'll have to keep...
That's what we're trying to figure out, because I literally just watched the refresh take place, and it said, nah, he's still in the right stuff. So we're going to double check here. I love technology.
Yeah.
I forgot that the 43 that Withers was in a Chevrolet, he's usually in a Toyota. It is not the case today. One more reset. Hopefully this works. Just going through all the systems that we have at the moment to see if it works.
Yeah, because trading paints is fickle. I know sometimes when I've used it in the past, it was like, oh, it's updated, and it then doesn't change all the paints. So
yeah,
obviously still great, a good enough system. Because obviously it's good we can have custom paints in iRacing at all, but sometimes it can be a bit messy.
Yeah, so we're just making sure that we can see all the cars here, because if we can see Brian's, then all of them will be updated. Obviously, we saw the change in the car color for Hagen. He was in the yellowish gold car last week. He's now in the tealish car, number 1
Carolina.
Here.
Yep, Carolina Tar Heels. Thought it was going to be college week first when I saw that, but no one else is running a college scheme, so he is electing to run it alone, and now the scheme is updated. So he has his now updated 43 paint as they split one of those machines. There's Jared Merchant in the 68.
And there is Steve Tucker. So Tucker is fine and dandy at the moment as well. And just behind Messer now. And that will see warm-up come to a close here in Homestead-Miami Speedway. This is once again the Black Acid 220 here for the 7-Bar Barbecue A-Square Cup Series season. Race 2 of 25 this season. Going to be a lot of fun watching everything come up to speed here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to walk you through the starting grid here in Homestead. It is John Hagen and Jonathan Adams front of the field. They'll lead the field to green here at Homestead. Row 2 is Cody Pinnell and Brandon Fetterplace. A lot of forage near the front of the field. Fetterplace, the first Toyota on the outside of row 2. Row 3, another all Ford row. It's Gaiman and St. Jean in row number 3. Row 4, Brian Dixon and Steve Tucker make up that row. The top 8 there for them. Nicholas Martinez Jr., front row from Daytona and the most laps led there last week. He starts row 5 alongside Matthew Kent for Raggy Racing. Connor Knowlton and Mike LaJoy make up row number 6. And then you have the two-time A-Square Cup Series champion Seth Wansing alongside David Wright in row 7. Matt Vorndren, Blake Galloway, they make up row number 8. Bunch of rookies there as the field gets ready to run here at Homestead. James Mendez, open car alongside Edward Marshall, both of them in the field in row 9. That's your top 18. Austin Mongold and Lily Peltier Sharp in row 10, your top 20. Kevin Feemster, Chris Goins. Goins in safety in 22nd alongside the 17 car of Kevin Feemster. Brian Messer filling in for Tommy Withers. He's in row 12 alongside Bren Roberts, our third place finisher last week. Elliot Longenecker and James Kerr III in row 13, ahead of Marshall Harris and Patrick Overstat in row 14. Row 15 is Ryan Pinnell, who is out of this race. I do believe he is not rolling. Making sure of that. Actually, no, 3 that did not make it was Pressey, Johnson, and Dila. So
okay,
Ryan Pinnell
Pressey
is in 29th.
All right, perfect.
Markowski alongside him there in 30th. Josh Battles, Davey Houck in row 16, 31st and 32nd. Riley Mauricio, Zach Millett make up row 17. They were fast in Daytona. They'll have to move from the back of the field here today. Chris Fleming and Connor Morris in row 18. Morris filling in for Steven Oberstadt. Brian Johnson out of this race, failing to qualify. He's alongside Vincenzo Iacovazzi, so those behind Johnson will move up a lane. Now Rich George will move up instead of being alongside Jared Merchant, who was in row 20. Colin McDonough and Brian Rupert, they're in row 21. McDonough moves up a row as well. Ethan Wood also moves up in the 88, a locked-in car. Nick Pressey did not get in, so now we're going to have the final row of the field. Michael Lawrence is the 43rd and final car. Mark Dila failing to qualify, setting the slowest time of 46 cars. All right, so 43 cars. We're all lined up and ready to go here in Homestead-Miami Speedway. And we're glad you're with us here on AVN for coverage of the 7-Bar Barbecue A-Square Cup Series season. I'm Carmen Sienna, alongside me Kevin Young, to bring you 145 laps of racing here today. Stages, pretty simple. Lap 20, lap 70. That's when the stages end. So everyone going to clamor for those stage points, especially early on. It's a sprint in stage 1. Hagan and Adams will lead the field to green. The pace car takes the left-hand turn.
Green, green, green.
And the green flag flies. Away we go. The Black Acid 220 is underway. We're racing in Miami. And you can see they're all spread out already from lap number 1. All 3 lanes around this racetrack in use as they go flying into turn 1 now at speed. Patrick Overstat already up 3 spots up to 25th. Keep an eye on him as he tries to charge. Ryan Pinnell, who was in by the skin of his teeth, working the bottom lane there as they battle mid-pack. Front of the field, it is still all eyes on John Hagan, but Steve Tucker in the 24 trying to make his way forward. Running from the bottom to the top. Brian Dixon also making his way forward. There is 61 of Josh Gaiman. Tom Sears filled in for him last time out at Daytona. Tom Sears led a lap in the 61 car. Kept that car running here in the 500 last week. But look at that 10 car. Look at Kyle St. Jean. Open car, independent car, did not get drafted in the A-Square draft back in January. And he's trying to challenge the 28 of Cody Pinnell for second place. John Hagan is already almost a second clear. That is what clean air does for you here at Homestead. John Hagan is out and in the open at the moment. Behind, it's a wild hornet's nest of cars. All the way, front and back. As they go into 3 and 4 here. That's the 8 car of Adams up top, the front row starter. Dropping back a little bit here. But you can just see the breadth of activity from 2nd to 43rd already. Again, lap 20 is when the stage ends, so you've got to make your moves quick if you're trying to gun for those stage points. After the races some people had last time out at Daytona, stage points will be very helpful. But how quickly can you make work happen here? You need these Goodyear tires to fall off quickly. It's been a common complaint, though, around these Goodyear tires. They don't often do so. Kyle St. Jean, though, almost wore out that Ford Mustang. Got loose out of turn 4. Almost spun it towards the pit wall. Saved it, but will lose all of his momentum and stall it out. Josh Gaiman behind him. As now Gaiman's got to deal with Nicholas Martinez Jr.
It's just a hornet's nest back there.
Really
as you see
is.
3 wide.
There's Mendez. This 92 did not qualify for Daytona.
Oh, St. John in the wall there. Coming down to Martinez.
Martinez in trouble.
Still trying to save it.
Wow.
Will save it.
St. John in a lot of trouble, and it caught Martinez off guard as well. And it threw Martinez out of the top 10.
Yep. Look at it reared back up, though, and obviously Martinez, drivers have short-term long-term memories, I should say.
Yes.
And he will know, hey, if I come up to you, you better yield a little bit, or else I will make sure I run you a bit hard if I need to. Now, obviously, gotta be careful because penalty points are in point, and if the stewards and the race crew deem you in fault for the accident, you could end up getting some points penalties you do not want on your license, as Wanzing and Martinez will fight side to side here.
Yeah,
now, it's worth. Yep, for 12. Now, it's worth noting as well, as we see Big Spin in the back, I'll have to hold that thought. Multiple cars involved there.
Oh, my
Austin
goodness.
Mongold, notable name. 19, 18, Pelletier Sharp. The 43, big lick there for the 39.
That's McDonough, yeah.
Easy just to wait and let him stop, and we'll figure out who's in the wreckage here. But we at least got 6, 7 cars involved in this incident. As we see right there, the 39 McDonough is stopped on the circuit, along with another machine there.
6 or 7 cars. I think that is almost half the field, because that was mid-pack.
Yeah. Let's see, we got 43, 68, 19, 26, 4, 32, 39, and 18 as we will watch the replay here. Obviously,
We're
3 wide.
a better camera angle because this is a wild one. See if we can get a decent angle here. It looks like so Marshall Harris, the 19, is involved in this. Let's go ahead and
follow him.
Yeah, because this is because we saw 48 on Martinez. Let's see the 19. That's just a lot of convergence there. That's Bryn Roberts in the outside lane. That's Marshall Harris just moving up into a 3 wide situation.
At this point, it's a scatter.
Off the nose of the 43 of Messer. There's 31 of Millett gets spun around.
Oh, there's a hook there. They got another car.
That was like upper mid pack there. 77 gets a piece of it. Gets multiple hits there. Merchant gets some. 40 Hours George will squeak on through. This driver's trying to get the point in the right direction. Now, everyone has a fast repair. Important distinction there. Everyone's got a fast repair that they can use. But you would like to not use it on lap 10 of 145.
Now, it's a bit early to burn one of those here, especially with knowing how the tires can fall off on later runs and all that. You want to make sure you keep that in your pocket. But there, yeah, just 2 dogs fighting over a raw steak, and they end up both going into the wall there where Roberts was an unwilling passenger, and you can see the rest of it has to try to pal through there. Big lick there by the 84. Roberts pounding into the 19. Alvarez George just gets on the brakes, waits till it's clear, and skates on through.
Very smart move there, Alvarez George, kind of just letting everyone kind of get themselves corrected there. The 77 of Iacovazzi blaze into that group, almost full speed. Not sure what he was thinking there in the 77 car, but that was not quite the wisest decision I think I've seen. As we'll ride on board with the 77 of Iacovazzi.
Pops up. I think maybe he's the hole, but when cars are spinning in front of you, you got to get on the brakes there at least a little bit.
He didn't get on the brakes until really late. He let off the throttle, which, I mean, credit, that's part of the way through it. But you have to get on the brakes, and he just didn't do that.
I'm thinking he probably saw the outside, like, oh, we'll be clear. It's almost a little smoke, but they probably all went low, but not knowing, obviously, where it was. Probably just, again, don't want to dog on him, but just probably best to get on the brakes a little bit. Just come to a stop, especially being that far back. You're not going to get ran over by anyone behind you, so better to be safer than sorry.
Unfortunately for this, 2 cars are already, I believe, out of this race. We'll have to double check here and make sure. Yeah, that's
Feimster and Longnecker.
Yeah, they're both already out, and they've only made they only completed 4 laps. So that's very unfortunate for them.
Yep. Feimster was a connection issue, so he could come back in here. Longenecker was a manual disconnection. So we'll have to see here, but obviously lap ticking down.
Ethan Wood back down pit lane to top off the fuel. LTA Sharp going to go multiple laps down here.
I wonder if she forgot to collect her fast repair when she came in, because we saw that happen to Zach Millett last season. So could be a situation where you just had to declick because you don't want to burn it. Maybe accidentally coming down pit lane, we have very minor damage. Maybe when she towed, she forgot to re-click, and she'll have to sit there and wait for it to be repaired.
Not a great start of the week there for LTA Sharp. She'll have to try to shrug it off and go to Sebring on Wednesday to try to kick off the Champ Car season a little bit better than how her A Sport Cup Series season has started. Front of the field, it is Steve Tucker and John Hagen. Front of the field, the pace car will take the left-hand turn down pit lane. Green flag back in the air, and Hagen not even touchable on that restart. Right in the restart zone, and off and away he goes. Tucker in the 2nd spot. Jonathan Adams trying to battle with Cody Pennell for the 3rd place spot. The 1st and 2nd have gotten through single file. We have 9 laps to go until the stage, and there's already trouble. That is Feder Place spun around backwards.
Luckily, we'll not hit anything but single car, so we will stay green because of that.
A single car and off the racing surface, which is an important distinction there. These cars are a handful when they're on cold tires, like where they're at right now. Even if you don't take tires on this pit stop when you grab your fuel, it takes a lap or so to get them up to speed. These cars are very finicky when it comes to tire temperatures. It takes a little bit for them to get up to it, and it's very easy to overheat them.
You overheat
on the
tires,
outside lane, that's James Mendez. Tagged the wall on entry. So does Kyle St. Jean just behind him.
Well, minor tap, though, so car really did not lose any speed there.
Look at Mendez flying on the outside lane from 6th to 3rd. Obviously, didn't have a chance to race at Daytona last week. But now we're seeing a little bit of what Mendez can do front and center. One of the friends to Vincenzo Iacobazzi involved in that first incident. Mendez jumping in and doing an outstanding job at the moment, battling with Jonathan Adams for that 3rd spot. Remember, top 10 get stage points. That is all very important here, especially for those that weren't at Daytona. They've got to dig themselves out of a hole. Mendez, Gaiman, Martinez, who failed to finish the race, even though he got a lot of points in stages in Daytona, didn't finish. Needs a little bit more work to do.
Especially with the season being short, I just saw a car take a little spin there in the back. Everyone's pointing in the right direction, though, but definitely a little bit of a argy-bargy in the back there. So we'll head back towards...
Double check. It is not anyone I can see that was still lingering.
Nope, they kept it pointing in the right direction, but I saw him woe that thing down. I'll get you the name in a second. It was the 00 machine.
Matt Vorndren.
Went way off the road and got it back up. Basically skated through the backstretch there, but no harm, no foul, other than to his times as we watch 92 currently under pressure here as he is battling for position with Josh Gaiman.
John Hagen still leads, trying to go for the stage win here, coming to 4 laps to go in the stage. Steve Tucker keeping him honest, though. 5/10 the gap. It was shorter when it was Jonathan. It was shorter than when it was Jonathan Adams. Jonathan Adams lost a 2nd in the first 9 laps to John Hagen. Hagen running from the bottom to the top now. Tucker also running the top lane. Both of them have broken away from Adams and Mendez and company. Mendez still just taking the top side. Josh Gaiman believing in the bottom lane near the white line. Martinez slides in front of St. Jean. St. Jean and Martinez, who have already squabbled a little bit in the opening stanza of this race. 2 of the open cars. Martinez in the middle. St. John moved down to the bottom. Seems like there's a preference difference here as St. John gets in front of Martinez. Cuts it close.
Connor Knowlton.
Yeah, there's the two with Connor Knowlton.
Yeah, he's ready to try to pick up the pieces. Yeah. Something happens here.
As teammates leading the way, and comfortably so at the moment as things stand. He's going to try to hold both the open cars at bay.
So you have white flag in the stage. Well, not yet. We have a couple more laps here before we get to white flag. Stage ends on 20. Now on white flag.
Yeah, once they start lap 20, that's it. So they are racing to it.
And yellow is out. Yep. Actually, it's for a crash. James Kerr looks like he had an incident back in the pack.
Yeah, you can see the skid marks there for James Kerr in the 75.
And he got in contact with someone else. So that would be 2 cars on the racing surface. So that will be an end to the stage here. John Hagen will take the win here. But watch here as he's coming up the road here.
He's already loose. He's already well loose. And that is James. That's Jared Merchant in the 68 that he got. And unfortunately, that was just Kerr getting loose out of 2, and Merchant had already kind of picked his lane. You kind of just hope that Kerr just continues to slide to the inside, but Kerr tried to save it and overcorrected on him.
So as he will get an EOL, he will basically probably just tow to pit lane here. We'll take another look here.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can ride on board with the 68 of Jared Merchant here, because it's not a pleasant hit when you're kind of just trying to mind your business here. This is on the 68 of Merchant. That's the 75 just ahead of him, and
really nothing you can do because it's just
there's nothing you can do. Like you pick your lane, you see the car turn, you see the car sliding to the left, and you're just like, okay, either he's gonna overcorrect into me, or he's just gonna slide left.
And you can't lift off because there's cars behind you; they'll just run you down. So he had really no choice there. He just had to hope, and well, ended up picking the wrong door.
That's one of the things where instinct over thought process kind of kicks in there as Kerr's in pit lane, because the instinct is try to save it. Mentally, you should just let it slide, like what we saw with Ryan Blaney earlier in the Atlanta race in real life today. He just kind of let it stay left, let it slide left, and stayed out of the way, and no one got hurt because of that. And Kerr was just trying to save it, and in this car, very rarely do you ever actually get to save it and keep it straight. Usually you just flops the other direction, and that's what we saw there. And
well, we saw Verdone do it on the backstretch a little bit earlier, but obviously sometimes a coin doesn't land up the same way.
We saw Brandon Fetterplace. When he got spun to the left side, he kept it left.
So as the pit stop's complete, just to quickly run over the top 10 of the stage, it was Hagen, Tucker, Adams, Gaiman, Mendez, Knowlton, Martinez Jr., St. John, Cody Pinnell, Michael Joy, and Seth Wanzing rounding out the top. Really and actually, Michael Joy would be the last in the top 10 there. So LaJoy up to Hagen.
Yeah, Michael LaJoy getting a stage point, really big deal for him. As you see top of the screen, 2 cars officially out. Elliot Longenecker and Kevin Feemster out after just 4 laps completed. Peltier Sharp still on the pit lane at the moment. There's the 18 car. Yep, and that is 14 plus laps.
So her day is pretty much done, even if the car gets back up to speed. We have 2 other cars here, 2 lap down and 1 lap down. James Kerr is now 2 laps down, and Austin Mongold is not a lap down at all. So looks like only other one down is Riccio, who is also going to be 1 down at the moment. So luckily, being the only car 1 down in the 32 machine, it'll be prime picking to get back on the lead lap if we get another quick caution.
2 cars a lap down here because Mongold is a lap down.
Oh, he is? Okay.
39th. Yeah, Mauricio is 38th, Mongold 39th, Kerr in pit lane having to tow. He's going to be at least 2, more likely 3 laps down at this point. It puts Vincenzo Iacovazzi, the 77, the last car on the lead lap with some connection issues for that 77 car. And you see at the front of the field, it's John Hagen and Jonathan Adams. Not Jonathan Adams, well, they are on the inside lane. Steve Tucker and Josh Gaiman outside lane. Green flag flies once again here in Daytona, here in Homestead. I keep saying Daytona, it's going to kill me because I'm going to mess it up at next weekend as well. But Hagen gets away here to start stage number 2. This stage is longer here at Homestead. Stage 2 goes into lap 70. If things go well, we'll see green flag pit stops in this stage.
and that will be indicative, as obviously drivers don't have to take the access road. They can come in straight off of 4, but it is a bit of a tricky one. We've seen Larson hit it in real life. We've seen Kurt Busch in 04, even though different machinery, also almost hit the pit itinerary, so it can sneak up on you if you get a little bit over-aggressive trying to get that perfect run in. And like we've seen many times as well on the ABN family networks, drivers are going a bit aggressive in the championship race and just missing their mark and end up having a problem because of it by speeding. Peltier Sharp has now... Go ahead.
Actually, I think we're going to cover the same update. Peltier Sharp and James Kerr confirmed out here at Homestead. Kerr confirming with us here at ABN that his race is over. Peltier Sharp confirming with the ARCS officials that her race is over. And that'll be reflected here soon on the ticker that Peltier Sharp is now officially reported as out. 3 cars on pit lane. Mauricio, Wood, Kerr, whose car is being towed back to the garage where it's done, and Vincenzo Iacovazzi, I believe. And again, there's a lot of damage on the 77 car, I believe, still from that first pit stop. I believe with these, this is penalties.
Yeah.
Yep, these are penalties. This is not great. This is Ethan Wood, the 88. So they're going to go down a couple laps here.
Did hear on the radio comm that Wood chimed up. Did not hear exactly what he said. I think it may have been a bit of a struggle in the back there when drivers were trying to get caught up there and trying to get around the line to get caught up. And I guess some got some drive-throughs because being out of position. So right now, the 77 machine of Vincenzo currently 45 seconds. We'll see if he fires off here in a second. It's still a long clock here, so maybe going for some extra repair as well.
Keep in mind here, this is all being run by the iRacing system. The only black flags that will be cleared is if you spin into pit lane, because if you're spinning down pit lane, it gives you an unsafe pit entry. That's the only penalty that can be manually cleared in the race. Passing under yellow, passing before the green, all of that stuff is penalties you have to serve. Usually they're stop and goes. If you're jump starting, that's a hold. Entering a close pit can be a stop and hold as well. So it can be a giant kick in the teeth here.
Watching the battle for the lead here. I'm also keeping an eye on some radio chatter between the 2 and the 48. And a little bit
Knowlton and Martinez. All right.
Yeah, Martinez piring on the radio. He's getting blocked by Knowlton. Knowlton trying to hold line. Remember, Knowlton's got a rep to being a little bit aggressive, so has to keep it calm here.
And Knowlton started the season with in the negatives because of his aggressiveness.
And but back up to the lead though. Tucker on the corner panel. That is ready itself out, but Tucker.
He is ready to go after Hagen here. Obviously, we saw how much closer he was able to stay with Hagen on that last restart in stage 1. But now he's right there on the 1 of Hagen. Really keeping him honest. And Josh Gaiman's in the mix too. Hagen and Gaiman go way back at this point here. Both of them are racing against each other, both in ARCS and in HTL and in AVN. For the Champ Car World Series, they race against each other quite a lot. So Steve Tucker in really good company, all things considered here. All 3 of these cars are second ahead of Jonathan Adams, who just does not seem to have the race pace at this point. He qualified second in the number 8 machine, and it just seems like there's something missing.
Tucker just gave the bump to Hagen there, accidentally off the 2 there.
It works. Hagen got moved out of the way. Gaiman's like, I'm going to take the hot hand. And so now, first lead change of the day is going to be that of the 24 of Steve Tucker. Up to the front. It
wasn't intentional at all, just the 1 got a little kick there. 24 had the run, and they just got not enough to dump him, not enough really to upset him, just enough to give the 1 a little jolt, and that will put him under pressure here for second. Is Gaiman going to try to hot hand around, like you said, Carmen? He will get around the number 1 machine, so now Hagen looking a bit vulnerable here, now down to 3rd, as now he'll have to get geared back up. First time he's not been in clear air all night. Now the question is, how will that car feel, and can he change his driving style to be able to get around? So we'll take a look again at that incident.
This is the bump for the pass.
Right there.
I don't know if Hagen, I don't know if so much that Hagen got hit as much as Hagen got loose when Tucker moved over to the right side of his car.
It was close. The angle I saw, it looked like he may have got him, but honestly, re-looking at it there, you could make the case that maybe it was just an upset moment, and same thing with just on the back to the 24. But regardless, the outcome is the same. No one goes around. And Tucker now to the lead. Now Gaiman wanting to challenge suit here. Oh, Gaiman went a little up the road there.
That's not going to help the tires at all either.
Nope.
That was really rough. And here comes Hagan challenging. And Steve Tucker's loving this. Let these two fight it out. Because they're going to give each other no quarter.
Yeah.
But Gaiman's going to stay a hold of second place. Everyone was really pushing hard there.
Watch this battle here rage on.
Absolutely.
Keep an eye behind the field here. Zach Millett up 28 spots, currently in 6th. He's at the moment in that second back.
He got spun out in that first caution on lap 9. So he's had to work his way from the very back of the field twice. He started obviously low in the field as well. So he has not been a happy camper here so far to kick off the day. And we'll actually pull up here for Zach Millett. He started 34th. That's where he's been there twice. But he's up to 6th place right now, doing a really good job in that 31 car. He is currently the biggest mover of the race, but not by much, because here's Connor Morris from 36th up to 11th at the moment. Up 25. He's been in the top 10 sporadically here, challenging with Seth Wanzing as racing continues on in stage 2. And then another one of the biggest gainers at the moment is going to be that of Michael Lawrence.
Oh. Let's go back to the lead here. Hagan side by side with Gaiman here as Hagan's shooting it low there on Gaiman. We're side by side down the backstretch here. Now Hagan coming back to life here. He wants that lead back. He will get second position right now and set his sights on that 24 machine.
The 24 here as well. So this could be a chance for a little bit of turnabout fair play. Not the case though. Hagan goes very top lane up near the wall. And he's going to have a lot of momentum out of turn 2 and not even close.
Oh, look at that. Even Gaiman's going to get a chance here, too. So I think Tucker
got out of it because he got really tight. That right front tire has got to be screaming for Tucker right now. He has been driving the absolute, you know what, out of that 24 Chevrolet. Drops down to 3rd. Gaiman back up to 2nd place. Hagan back to the lead of this race. Steve Tucker, though, importantly, he's got 6 laps led. He's the only other person that's led a lap other than John Hagan. And you want to talk about how many laps John Hagan's led out of 37 completed laps? Yeah,
that's a lot of laps. Totally on brand for what we expected coming in tonight. I think it's even a spot that the ABN bot could have predicted. As we cut a little bit back here, Millett can't get away from Adams.
He just got around Adams here. This is Millett up to 4th. From 34th. He's gained 30 spots in this race so far, and that's including the setback there in stage 1. Not a serious enough setback. Keep an eye on Millett, because we do have that reset for stage 3. He's going to be in this lead group. Here comes Jonathan Adams, the 8 car. Onto the inside lane. Again, we talked about Adams. He just has not had the race leading pace, or the contending pace that we would have expected after seeing him in qualifying. And that is extremely poignant here with him battling Millett. Nicholas Martinez Jr. up 3 spots. Started this race in 9th. Has not dropped any lower than 12th, sitting in 6th at the moment. And now just kind of keeping things steady, knowing that there is pit stops here. The pit window is 35 laps here in Homestead. So we do have that pit stop here. Obviously, the stage over 45 laps of green flag racing here. So we're going to see that pretty well take flight as Adams has now dropped down to the 6th spot. Now trying to stay ahead of Connor Knowlton, who has been vocal with Martinez in this race so far. Those two chirping back and forth over the radio. Mike LaJoie, I will say, he's been under the radar. That 29 car has been fantastic so far. The Hartford car.
Yeah, the Hartford Whalers, 29.
Absolutely fantastic seeing the Hartford Whalers on the side of that 29 car. He's gotten ahead of Cody Pinnell, who's fallen back a little bit, and there's Seth Wanzing right now in 10th.
Never counted a 2-time champ, as he is calling through his field as well right now. Should be worth noting as well, two things to note as we'll do a little homework here, as right now we can confirm through some chatter here that there actually are no fast repairs available for this race. So if a car ends up getting heavily damaged, it will be day done for them. So you'll have to keep that in mind, that if you do end up going for a wild ride, you want to make sure you avoid hitting something, and even if you do, you may knock the speed out of if you're not careful. Heading a little bit further back, we see David Wright, Matt Verdon, and I think that's the 80.
That's the 05 of Blake Galloway.
05. Yep, thank you. And they are battling right now a little bit further back in the pack here. They're fighting for position, trying to find their groove here as they get it all settled out. Brandon Featherplace not having the day he'd like. He's only a couple spots ahead of this battle, currently in 21st, just behind the 15th, the Matthew Kent in the Bucky's 15.
Yeah, remember Featherplace he spun out in stage number 1. Didn't cause a caution, didn't wreck the car, obviously. He's still running, he's still got some pace. But just indicative of where his race has been so far. He is down 17 spots from where he started, from where he qualified. He's currently in 21st, battling with the Bucky Beaver machine of Matthew Kent. And right now they're sitting behind the 21 of Davey Houck, a fantastic Wrangler 21. It's painted by Henderson Graphics, a partner of ABN.
And then Marshall Harris right there in 18th. He also went for a bit of a little wild ride in the first caution, and he's relatively okay in comparison to the other cars involved, as the 21 tried to squeeze the 34. 34 not going to have any of that, as he wants to be on that high side here to get a move done.
Yeah, you look at Matt Vorndren, though, the 00 machine. Battling with Chris Goins, one of the open cars.
And it should be worth noting for these open cars here that obviously we're only in week 2, but there are sometimes drivers. We know there's a few teams around the grid that maybe going to trip to part-time, maybe at the very least let a ride be open. And for these open drivers, if you should perform well, you could end up getting a call from one of these teams. Obviously, Connor Morris right now driving for that 3 right now. He is actually going to be pitting here along with the 2. So window has officially seems to open. The driver's ready to undercut. Yeah,
you're looking at right now, you're looking at his cars. They're splitting the stage in half, is what they're doing right now. John Hagen in as well. He will be the first Pied Piper down. Hagen as well. Gaiman. Millet will stay out, go overcut strategy. Connor Nolan, Matthew Kent, Seth Wansing, Connor Morse. Right now, all the moment. Markowski as well with Davey Hawk and Matt Fordon and David Wright, along with a few others. Pit road graphic here on the right side of your screen, so you can see everyone that is in pit lane at the moment. There's a lot of cars in pit lane right now.
And this is good food for thought for these drivers, as this is a good example to find out, will the overcut be more potent or the undercut? This is good information they can use for the final stage. So Patrick Oberstadt, Michael Lawrence coming in this time by. I'll keep an eye on Zach Millett. He will stay out another lap, so he thinks he can go longer. He wants the clean air.
That is Josh
race off the pit lane.
That is Josh Gaiman winning the race off pit lane there. That is huge.
Big stop there. Gaiman a 14.75. John Hagen a 15.37. And you see it right there. Their virtual cruise of the 61 got him the run there.
That is enormous. That was what Josh Gaiman needed. Now he's got it's easier to defend than it is to attack. That is very that is very true here at Homestead. But that works out well. Cody Pinnell comes down pit lane.
Look at that.
Some others. That's Nicholas Martinez that also came down pit lane at the front. So 3 cars staying out so far. Sorry, a few cars staying out at the moment as we just sort of browse and peruse. But the 3 cars ahead of Josh Gaiman, who needs to get his lap back now, is Millett, Adams, and Tucker. And they're gonna let the tank run out.
Yeah, they're hoping for maybe a quick caution here, try the overcut, try something different here because they can fill it up less, or even try a 2-tire to no-tire strategy, just fill it up and run and see if that can work here. So it's up to driver's discretion.
Is that if you can get to about lap 56, you give yourself less than 15 laps, that's a 2-tire stop.
Yeah.
So I think that's the methodology that's in place here. Obviously, those that came down about the halfway point in the stage, they took 4 because they've got that longer stint to go. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. There's Ethan Wood, who is not on the lead lap, and he is struggling in that 88 car, which is obviously not 100% right now as things stand. But he's open for a little bit of chaos, especially in stage 3, which is what we typically see here in the A-Square Cup Series at the moment. You see it again on the right-hand side of your screen. Those are all the cars right now in pit lane. So you have Messer, you have LaJoy, you have the 10 of St. Jean, you have the 11 car in pit lane as well. The 11 car being that of Josh Battles. The 75 of James Kerr III, who is out of this race still. Same with LTA Sharp, who are just kind of spectating at this point, watching their teammates race on from their retired cars.
Should be worth noting, keeping on the lap times, Mendez will now pit in from 4th position. Right now, looking at it, you got Zach Miller, our current race leader, running 38.83s, and Jonathan Adams running 33.63s. In comparison, obviously, with Hagan and Gaiman both running in the high 32s, 32.99 last time by, and a 32.97. So gap was about half a second in the last couple laps. Now it's gone up to a second. And it's worth noting, obviously, as the quicker the times fall down here, as we can see at the point, Adams and Millet not under pressure yet from both Gaiman and Hagan. As we see Steve Tucker pit in from 3rd position. Puff of smoke there. Looks like a car got a little loose. But to finish my point, though, there is that risk, obviously, running it farther. You're going to have the better chance with 2 tires to get more distance, but you got to make sure you give yourself enough of a cushion here that you don't end up getting caught out by going for 2 tires. So there's an element of strategy here to make sure you keep the pace. And now Gaiman and Hagan have crashed the party with Millet and Adams. You're going to see the tire differential play out a treat here. They're actually going to catch a lap down car here. They both skate around the high side here. Both get around Adams, and we'll probably set up a move here quickly on the 31 of Zach Millet. Gaiman will go low. Hagan will do middle groove, and not much of a defense 31 can do. And that raises a question. If he pulls 2 tires, he's basically got to hope 15 laps goes as quick as it can. He has now got the hand out the window. He is coming in this time by as long as he can get around Hagan.
It didn't quite get to lap 56, so we'll see what he can do here in the 31 car. Josh Gaiman, though, should be able to inherit the race lead once everyone comes in. Adams comes in pit lane. Keep an eye on the 12 of Ryan Pinnell. Is he going to stay out and lead a lap here? I think he might.
Yep, he is staying out. Galloway will stay out along with Edward. Actually, Edward Marshall is coming in his Wendy's machine. So it's just going to be Pinnell, Galloway, George. The only 3 still out on the race's surface. And right now, Pinnell on radio. He is coming in. Roberts a little bit further back. He's pitting along, presumably Galloway and George will be coming in this time by as well. So we'll keep an eye on the numbers here. Obviously, 20 to about 54. That gets you about 34 laps, right in the window of where we expected it. We'll have to keep that knowledge if we do see another green flag run coming into the final stage, which, bearing any no cautions, is well on the cards. Is 12:05 and 40 all in. Gaiman will now inherit the race lead. One more piece of homework as well. Millet ended up taking 2 tires, but he will end up behind Hagan and Gaiman. So his long-term strategy there to try the 2-tire strategy at the moment, not working out, but he will at least have a little bit better rubber on at least one half of those tires in comparison to the 2 leaders of Gaiman and Hagan. And we'll see if he can make that differential work out as we now see Josh Gaiman take the lead of this race.
Yeah, big difference there. Coming to 15 to go in the stage. It is a 4/10 gap right now between Gaiman and Hagan. Millet about a second behind. After rejoining the front of the field here, that is the 6 of Rupert, who is not on the lead lap at the moment. Rupert is actually the first car lap down. So if things stay as they are right now for Rupert, he would end up being the free pass recipient at the end of the stage. And he's showing he's got some fight in that number 6 car, trying to make his way forward. It is all still a play for Martinez up into the 4th spot. Car coming out of pit lane, trying to figure out who that was here.
19 of the 19 machine is the one coming out of pit lane at the moment. So
that is 19 of. Bear with me here. I don't have the number on top
Marshall
of my
Harris.
Head. Oh, yeah, you go.
Marshall Harris. So he has now left the pit lane right now as we speak.
2 laps down, I do believe.
You are correct. 2 laps down he is.
I was trying to scroll through the timers, like, hold on, who's where, who's where, who's where.
With a big field like this, it's sometimes numbers and names get kind of blended in quickly, and you got to try to quickly identify it, especially with this only being the 2nd race of the season and a lot of new drivers in new homes.
And we're going to see that still. Like, even when we go into next week's race, it's going to be that way. It will not be. It will not be that easy to really kind of figure out who's where, because we had over 50 3 cars attempt to qualify for Daytona, and it's going to get even more crazy when we start looking at the substitutes as well. But obviously, it's kind of looking through sort of what we have going on here for the A-Square Cup Series. We head from Homestead. We finally leave the state of Florida. We go to Bristol to race on the dirt.
No, Gaiman's definitely got that one circled, as he was the last winner at Bristol Dirt in a dominating fashion.
Yeah, Gaiman loves the dirt track there at Bristol. So that's going to be wild, and it gets to be just you for Bristol Dirt, as I have to stay here in Florida. Oh, no.
Hey, Florida's a nice state, and it's got beautiful weather, at least this time of year. As long as you can dodge the rain clouds and the humidity, you'll definitely be in for a fun virtual afternoon.
Right now,
after
this
that,
is an amazing battle, though. We can kind of we'll get back to the calendar in just a second. This is between Mendez and Wanzing. This is for the end of the stage points here. This is 9th and 10th, and Connor Morris trying to charge in and break it up there in the 11th spot in the number 3 car for Carolina Beagle Racing. He's still lurking in, looking at better place. He was 21st, battling to stay in near the top 10 as he battles right now with Patrick Oberstadt.
Yeah,
and caution's out.
We have a caution yellow flag, trying to see who it is. It's a 61 of Gaiman. Gaiman right there. You see him spun it.
The race leader.
Not good. Not sure what exactly happened. Not a lot of damage, at least on the left side.
Oh no, I think he spins on his own. I think he just gets loose on his own. This is a moment where he's his own worst enemy. Yeah, 100%. He gets loose off. It just unloads unsafely out of 2.
And he needs an EOL too, so it is heavy enough damage that, doesn't look like a big lick, but
it doesn't look like a big lick on that side. But if we have a chance to see if we can get a camera that can get a look at the outside of that car, all the cameras are in the inside of the racetrack here, not the outside, which is not helpful.
Should probably cut in a second as we get to the front stretch. Yeah, we'll see it pass by here.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Yeah, you can see the toe not in a great spot.
Like I was saying, no fast repairs in tonight's festivity, so he'll have to repair that, or it will be day done for the 61. And it must sting a little bit, as we know. Gaiman's been one of those drivers, at the very least, that we've seen him. He's had dominating runs come to a miserable, crushing down defeats.
Now,
and today we'll add another one
Hagen
to that
had just gotten around Gaiman, so I wonder if his pace had just begun to fall apart in that 61 car. Because it's not very often we see Josh Gaiman wreck on his own like that. This is on board with 61 of Gaiman.
Many aprons.
And he's battling it. He's battling it through too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the right front that breaks. That totally damaged. It's bent. And he knows it is. It's
kind of the one times you kind of wish you had a cockpit camera where you could see drivers in it actually react like they would in their sims, and it would not be a fun sight to see the 61 there, as it's probably just frustration. As soon as you hit it, you know it's broken, and there's not much you can do.
Yep.
However, he's not come down pit lane yet, though.
He's going to come down under green here, so he's not taking the emergency service, which is a huge thing. But you can almost guarantee that he's going to be a couple laps down by the time that car's repaired.
Yeah, and I can even hear the frustration on the radio there. Someone's asking a question. Yeah, it was not a pretty sight here. So obviously a few cars like to come down. McDonough, St. John, David Wright, Ryan Pinnell, Jarrett Merchant, Bren Roberts, all coming in for lengthy stops. Some of them, though, so it looks like they had some sort of damage or some sort of penalties that they needed to fix at the very least for a junk. Obviously, you can't take a penalty under caution, so it must have been some damage repair for a lot of these cars to come in. But 61 just going to cough up spots here. While we obviously have a short run to the finish of the stage here, as it ends on, I believe, lap 70.
Yep, lap 70. So we're going to have a pretty short sprint to the finish here at the stage 2.
Yep, it's going to be Hagen, Martinez Jr., Millett, Adams, Knowlton, your top 5. I do want to keep an eye on, so I was keeping an eye on the numbers of Millett, as, again, what he was trying a 2-tire strategy and see if he could try to hang on. It's good information to keep in the back of your mind, with the last stage being the longest, with a pit stop looming as well. It could be a 2-tire call, could work, could not work, and it's good information to find out by using Millett as kind of the lab rat in this situation. But as we believe we've hit 1 to go, it's going to be Hagen, Martinez Jr. in row 1, Millett, Adams, row 2, Knowlton, Pinnell, row 3, Mendez, Tucker, row 4, Patrick Oberstadt, and Seth Wanzing, row 5. Wanzing currently last driver in the top 10 for stage points. See if he can hang on to that. Pacer going to take the lonesome trip down pit lane. Will be on John Hagen's control in the restart zone. Green flag is out, and away we go. And another great launch by the one. Martinez Jr. looks like he got a little bit napping there. So he'll be under pressure here, heading off into one from Zach Millett. Oh, Millett did not get going there. Going to get wrapped around there. And he's going to get a little bit loose, too, off two.
Yeah, he was not happy on the inside lane. He has not been an inside lane runner on these restarts at all. And that was definitely the case there. You see the difference there with Millett, who's still struggling. Mendez shooting the wall in the outside lane.
He's getting split.
He's going to go all the way up to 4th place. Millett,
oh! Ping pong!
Ping pong, that was between Oberstadt, Millett, and Steve Tucker, and they all kept it going.
Yeah, that's why he's thankful it's not NASCAR heat days. He would have been easily in the wall there. Luckily, we'll keep it pointing in the right direction. His feather place going to try to rip it around the low side and the law. Matthew Kent on the high side. Verdone gets a little bit loose again. He'll come back up. So everyone's still all pointing in the right direction. As it's Hagen, Martinez Jr., and Adams, your top three. Millett just praying this stage can end quite quickly here as he's now outside the top 10 and continuing to fall. And another quick yellow here at the 42 with David Wright.
And Vincenzo Iacobazzi.
Oh. And that will be the end of the stage. End of the stage. Sorry to cut you off. Just want to say it's the end of the stage here. So Hagen wins stage 2. But David Wright, heavy damage.
Yeah, that's David Wright, who's on the lead lap, and Iacobazzi, who was not even close to the lead lap here.
77 not happy with the 42. So
we're going to figure out why. All right, so this is David Wright. Play it at speed here and see what's going on.
Oh, I don't know what. How is 77 complaining that? Well, that's the 77 was complaining to someone else. I think he maybe not complaining to the 42, but I heard him on the radio chime something up. So
let's take a look at that again. Obviously, David Wright kind of plows into him there. Oh,
okay, this is where a problem's going to be.
Potentially. Oh no.
Oh no, it's St. John.
It's St. John that gets loose.
Yeah, because I saw John disconnect, so he's going to probably be the cause of this one. Lost the save. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think that's on St. John much either.
And then David
on
Wright.
That situation, because I think St. John broke the right front. I believe is how that played out there.
And even then, 77 didn't hit the 10. Just lost it trying to get around him there.
I think the idea is that it may have been the 77 may have thought that St. John was just trying to cut across the racetrack. I don't think, because he's in the wall early. Let's see what happens here. They're going to back this up a little bit. This is into 3.
Heading into 3.
Yeah.
In the wall right there.
He's in the wall. Loose, 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 still loose.
Tries to save it. In the wall again and broken. And he's going low. He actually ends up clipping.
I think that was Seth Wansing.
No, that wasn't Wansing. That wasn't the Bud Light machine. That was someone else. Let's see if we can take a look here. There's Marshall Harris.
It's such unfortunate for Iacobazzi because he's got nothing he can do here. Let's actually see if we can take a look here from David Wright to see what he sees out of 4. Everyone's scrambling. He's out of the gas early.
He's trying to get in the brakes. And at that point, you could say he maybe should hit the brakes there, but he's just trying to see what will happen.
Well, he's got Brent to his inside, so he can't do a whole lot. And if he locks up, then he's hitting 77 anyway.
By the way, the 10 ended up hitting the 88 of...
Oh, the 88 Wood. Of Ethan Wood. Yeah.
The other Busch Light machine in the field. So he ended up hitting Ethan Wood. So very odd situation. You're obviously right. Going to have to try to hope that buffs out. As he will be the point. Also, one thing to note as well, Martinez Jr. cannot be able to finish this race. He will pull it behind the wall. He will get stage points for stage 2, but he will not end up finishing this race. So we'll cut to the front here. You see a few cars electing different strategies here. Connor Morris came in, but only a 1-second stop, so I think he missed his box or just came in and did not elect to stop. Then it's Alfred George Galloway, Lawrence, Adams, Pennell, your top 6. And then the drivers that pitted, James Mendez, John Hagan, Connor Knowlton, and Edward Marshall round out the top 10. So Morse, George, Galloway, Lawrence, and Pennell all came in at 61 and elected to stay out under the stage. Stay under the stage, and the rest elected to come in, all taking 4 tires, except for Edward Marshall, who looks like he took fuel only on his pit stop.
All right, Morris and George, then Galloway and Lawrence, and Ryan Pennell, and Jonathan Adams, your top 6. The pace car takes the left-hand turn down pit lane. And once again, we are racing from Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Big leap there by the 3.
Look at the 4 wide spread out as everyone tried to gather positions quickly.
Ooh, Pennell getting split there. Oh, Pennell got hooked under Marshall. One car hits the inside wall, and that will cause a caution here, so he will be involved. Edward Marshall also slow the back.
I don't think it was Pennell. I think it was Marshall that tagged that drew the caution there.
True. So Marshall's going to be the cause of the caution. Pennell obviously was the starting point of just the incident on the backstretch here.
Yeah,
we'll take a look here again, and you can see as we follow on board here with Pennell.
Let's see if we can go up top here. Yep, you can see Pennell and Marshall get together.
That's going to give Pennell the old heave-ho down the low line.
And Marshall
also off
that's very interesting from the 16. Yeah,
it's loose. Coming up the road. Tries to save it right in front of the 33. Doesn't. Oh, minor damage. Then coming up the road, 34 will skate on by.
Got PTSD from that one.
Yep. It's 0-0.
Yeah,
no one else
luckily comes out.
Yeah, no one else piles in luckily, so everyone skates by, even though there's a couple close shaves. But that's obviously the luckiest you can get. None of them getting hit by anything, being sideways on a racing surface. So he'll get it fired back up with minimal damage, unlike the 12 Ryan Pennell, who is going to have a lot to buff out here. That'll come on in along with Edward Marshall. Again, some more knowledge, I guess you can say, at the very least, is that if you elect to stay out, even with the small deficit on tires, it doesn't look poised that you'll be good to make it unless you're truly the one leading off here. So some good notes if we get a green-white checkered attempt here. At least, obviously, at the end of this 145-lap run, which we're still not at the point of ending yet, though. So as we see a handful of cars elected down pit lane here. Connor Morse will keep the lead. Jonathan Adams will be fresh, second car fastest on fresh tires. So he will line up on the outside here of row 1 when we get the green in about 2 laps time. We take this opportunity looking around here. I believe we have, I want to say 30 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Actually, 27, Pennell. Marshall make 28. And I think Gaiman surprisingly still on the lead lap, so 29.
We have 31, I do believe,
31.
With Marshall and Roberts.
Got it. Head away from the leave, so Marshall Harris will be the first one a lap down. It will actually be 2 down. And then Pacino, Mongold, Wood, and then obviously Martinez Jr. first of the drivers out of the race, along with Wright, St. John, Ikavadze, Kerr, Sharp, Longenecker, Feemster, and then obviously the ones that made the field. So 72 laps of 145 complete. Morse, Adams, Hagan, Galloway, and Knowlton in your top 5 here as we now officially got the 1 to go. And they will fire off again. Connor Morris obviously taking advantage of his opportunity here. Biggest mover so far, up 35 spots. Obviously, sorry, not even the biggest mover. Actually, Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence is 38 spots. But obviously, both of those are based on strategy choice rather than, at the moment, pure outright pace. But let's see if they can keep that advantage going here and try to stay towards the front, or will some of the strong runners swallow them up on their fresher tires.
Another interesting restart here. We've crossed the halfway point in Homestead-Miami for the Black Acid 220. It is Morris, Adams, Hagan, Galloway, Knowlton top 5, Mendez top 6. Green flag flies, and away we go. We're racing once again. Let's try to get another green flag run going.
The Bears will get a opening green flag run there as cars begin to fan out 3 wide, 4 wide back there, right around back of the top 20s there. You can see cars fan out for position, trying to find ways around here. 2x2x2, pretty much outside the top 10 here. And this is important because the last stage caution happened just a minute ago. And that was really the last true bunch up you're going to get, because theoretically, if it stays green, you'll have to earn all the positions you want back on the racing surface. I see the 03 machine fighting his way through the middle here. So he'll be side by side, actually not even side by side with Steam Boss, side by side at the very least, with a 31, I believe, further back there. And Zach Millett obviously has done the first challenge twice in this race. He'll have to do it a third time. But right now, in the middle of a no-win situation, as he's trying to find his way around here, looks like he'll be at the moment clear, as he is trying to get himself currently firmly inside the top 15. There, the 11 in the wall of Josh Battles will get stuck in his Doritos machine. Will end up getting caught into this battle here that we're currently watching. Still no change up front at the moment. Connor Morse holding it down with Hagan, Knowlton, Adams, and Mendez. You see right there, 3 wide is a 0-0, trying to rip it of Matt Verdon. Brian Dixon there not going away like a bad rash, and Chris Gones, an open machine, fighting. And there's Josh Gaiman. Obviously, we know that 61 is fast, but with the damage he suffered in stage 2, can he keep it ripping? He's going to go high side of Cheeseburger Lawrence, former teammates last season. They will battle it out on that high side. You can also see Ryan Pinnell after the caution he was in last time by. Car looks good. Goins gets a little loose. Almost hip checks the 0-0. Low side train right there playing on as Ryan Pinnell under pressure from Lawrence. I think right now if I'm that 0-0, I'm just hoping, can I just find some clean track here for a second, as he's been basically in a rush hour for the past 4 to 5 laps here at Homestead-Miami, as that 26 Agon still on his outside. Watch this battle here at the moment. I'm also keeping an eye on the ticker up towards the front here. Zach Millett is making his charge work here, just almost outside the top 10. Other than that, though, top 10 pretty planted like we've seen off the start. Right now, Morris again holding his own in the stop position as Hagan is slowly reeling him in. As we cut a little bit further up there, so on Hagan right now about 2 tenths. Oh, spin in the back. We got a spin in the back. It is going to be Michael Lawrence make through, and it's a 0-0, and Josh Gaiman, that car looks officially done. And oh, 0-0 got plowed in by someone there. Not exactly who that black and red machine was, but they ended up taking the rear clip off, and it was the 6 that ended up piling in. So the 6 of Brian Rupert just took the 0-0's rear end clip off. So, weird situation. We jump to the front, and as soon as we jump to the front, the chaos happens where we were just watching, as the 6 is just going to come down here, take emergency service. And looks like the car at the very least, he missed a couple boxes there. We'll take a look here, though, on the replay, see exactly what happened. We'll have to cut up a little bit. It's going to take around the 0-0 of Matt Verdon. As you can see right there, Gaiman behind. And Chris Gones on the high side there in the 26. We know Gaiman was maybe being a bit aggressive here because you know he's got a fast 61 trying to carve through the field like Millett did. See if he has any effect in this, though. 0-0 comes up still at the moment. He gets a little loose. Yeah, Gaiman had really nothing to do with it. And then Pinnell piles in the game. And that big lick on the low side At that point, Gones and the 00 on the high side, and then the 6 will come in and bam, hit him. Question mark of the day, you could say, could 00 held his brake there, or was the 6 going a little bit too fast in a caution situation? So taking a look here, this time by following the 61 to Josh Gaiman. And you're just going to see again, just get a little shunt, almost clear, and then there's a little punt by Ryan Pinnell, and big lick. And at that point, car is pretty much totaled for the night. As even though the car was fine after his previous incident, there's not much you can do when you can see obviously the left front toe link completely broken. There's Brian Rupert as well as he skates on by. We'll take one more look here, riding on board here with the 6. You're going to see obviously incident up the road there, puff of smoke there, goes Gaiman on the inside wall. See if the brake situation held out here. He is stopping. He's a little higher than he probably should be. But at the same point, he made a late second decision there. But at the same point, the 00 kind of like a sliding door came down the track there. So kind of an odd situation. You could say the 6 maybe should have been a bit lower. But at the same point, 00 maybe should have held his brake. 6 though will leave the pit lane, will stay on the lead lap. But that number 6 is heavily damaged at the very least. Speaking of the leaders, there they are coming out of 4. Pit road was a bit of a crowded place. A few cars electing to come in that time by. Yep, everyone came in for the most part, but we saw differing strategies. So actually, everyone elected to come in. James Mendez and Connor Knowlton electing to go fuel only. Hagan and Morse taking 4 tires. Davey Hawk also taking fuel only. Adams, Pinnell, Wanzing, Galway, 10. Rounding outside your top 10. And this is actually a very good advantage for Connor Morse as he was hanging on to the lead, and now with this caution, he's basically on the same cycle as the leaders. So it is a net gain for him, along with a few of the drivers that also rolled the dice under that previous stage caution. Most of them ended up going further back. So overall, the 3, who I would generally argue right now, Connor Morse, obviously as an open driver, he's in a spot where I almost consider this like a lightning challenge or a license challenge like in the old NASCAR games. He's driving maybe to earn a seat here, and if you could find a win or at least put up a decent finish, you open the door of opportunity for a team maybe again looking for a driver in a couple weeks to maybe be like, hey, let's pick up that kid in the 3 currently and give him a full-time ride as he knows he can drive it very fastly, I should say. So his pace car going to take the lonesome trip down pit lane here. Control will be on James Mendez here, our winner of the Daytona, the Clash, I should say, a couple weeks back. Green flag is out, and away we go. Good launch there by the 92. Nolan a little bit slower as Hagan's trying to push, as Hagan and Connor Morse will be side by side heading off into 1. Already challenging for the lead. We'll cut a little bit further back here. Steve Tucker at the moment in the bit of the wrong way around here as he is currently going to be side by side with Zach Millett, both currently outside the top 10. Is currently the 05 right there. Is currently that. We'll cut back up to lead. Connor Knowlton wants to take that lead. Had a fast number 2 this weekend, along with the 92 of Mendez, both in and outside the top 10. Mendez is going to try to go over under here. They'll be side by side heading off into 3. And he's going to try to maybe slide job it up here. We have a quick caution here. It's going to be the 00 and the 38 slow on the backstretch. So that will be a saving grace for the 92. He will keep the lead. It's Chris Fleming and Matt Bourdon. 2 cars involved. Obviously, Chris Fleming, our 500 winner, ended up involving in this incident. So we'll keep an eye on the 38. Oh, he just gets a little loose there. It goes low and hits the wall. He comes back up. Oh, right into the pathway of the 00, who luckily avoids it. But that will still be enough of a situation that iRace will throw the caution, and we will have caution on the surface. So easy to go from hero to 0, and you can see that in the 38. So we see Mendez and Nolan electing to come in here. So actually, they will actually bait and switch. They even baited the commentary booth. They will stay out. Obviously came in at lap 81, so would have been a bit silly to come in retrospect, but you've seen stranger things happen. They will elect to keep the track position here. Checking through the field here to see if any notable names came down. Obviously, everyone pretty much 23rd on back came in. Some for damage repair, others just to get off sequence, as you see pit lane right there. Obviously, the 18, the 75, and the 6 have been on pit lane for a long time, along with Wood and Mongold. The rest coming in under service there. So 28th to 23rd there on the little ticker on the right are currently coming in for service. Meanwhile, the 19 will get one of their laps back, and I believe, if I'm theoretically correct, that should put them on the lead lap, because they'll skate around here to get to 86, so they will now be on the lead lap, giving us 29 cars on the lead lap. So the Bowie Esports 19 back on the lead lap here, and we'll have a chance to challenge for positions. Because obviously, even if you're having a rough day, you still want to kind of hang out there and still battle, as every point matters, especially in the constructors, where we've seen year in and year out, we've seen Lion Power the last 2 seasons be the top of the cream for constructors. They've just been consistently putting down good finishes and ended up putting the points. So obviously, you want to keep that form going, and if you can keep the car in the right race, you want to do it just in case chaos happens, as we've seen over 8 cars out of this race already. Josh Gaiman, the most recent, joined the graveyard. I believe David Wright actually is still back out there. So yeah, Josh Gaiman on down to 35th to 43rd out of this race. Just got the 1 to go this time by James Mendez and Connor Knowlton will be our front 2 here. They'll take off where they left off. Hagen and Morse will be flipped from the last restart. Hagen will be on the low side, Morse will be on the high side. That's Adams, Hawk, Pinnell, Wanzing, Galloway, and Tucker rounding out the top 10. So I know Carmen said it a bit earlier, and I will share the same sentiment here. It's one of those situations where you hope to see a little bit of green flag running here, as obviously if they can get to about 110, they would be within a final pit stop range, but there's still, at the very least, 1 green flag pit stop looming for the field here. Pace car will pull on off. They'll enter the restart zone, and away they go again here on lap 89. And again, that 9 of the 92, the 2 really got going there, and that inside line is very coordinated as they will all push on here. Meanwhile, you can get a wide shot here. You'll see 3 wide. Steve Tucker trying to capitalize on that high side, as you'll see him shoot off the backstretch here, as he was trying to pick up the pieces of the high line. Not going. Bats in the back. Austin Mongold around, and he will be involved in this incident. Mongold obviously there, came off the racing surface. Not sure if obviously a few other cars piled in, as he was basically wrong way around the top of the speedway here. And we'll take a look in a second to see who else may have had a piece, but that will be our next caution of the night. Ford gets a run here. Oh, it pinches the 16, really, and then that point gets hit by blue and white machine there, as he will go way off the racing surface. And that will be the cause for the caution. We'll take one more look here as well, see if I can identify that car here as they come off 3 and 4 here. Yep, you can see 4. Yeah, 16 holding the line. 4 just came up, and it was the 19 who went low there. Marshall Harris just got back on the lead lap 2, and his reward for his troubles is end up almost colliding with that inside wall. Luckily, though, will not hit it. So, in the day, he's thanking his lucky stars there. That wall was not a couple more inches in, or else he would have had at least a good amount of damage on the left side of that Bowie Esports machine. So back up front, it is shaken up a little bit as well again. James Mendez actually now officially electing to come in. So Mendez going off sequence, he'll come in and change up the strategy. Obviously cannot make it from here. He'll have to come back in again. He'll be joined by a handful of drivers a little bit further back. Connor Knowlton electing to stay out as we take a look at some track facts here. Obviously, you can see it's 145 laps, 1 mile track. Pit lane speed's only 45, but keep an eye on that pit window, 33 to 35 laps, like we were alluding to, meaning that again, by about 110, they should be comfortably in with no more pit stops. But obviously, how this race is played out at the moment, you would at least believe green flag pit stops, green-white checkers could be on the horizon. So Nolan, Hagen, Adams, Morse, Tucker, your top 5 currently. It's Ford domination. as 90 laps have been completed here at Homestead-Miami. So as they come off the 4 here, we should get the 1 to go this time by. It'll be Knowlton Hagen, row number 1. Adams Morse, row 2. Tucker Pinnell, row 3. Wansing Millet, row 4. Galloway and Hook rounding out the first 5 rows. Obviously, this is the first restart. Hagen's going to have clean air with those fresher tires. His past few restarts, he's been behind one of the 2 cars that tried a different strategy. And now he's going to have a chance here, and we'll see if he can time this restart right and really put some pressure on Morse, Tucker, and Adams to try to keep up here. Meanwhile, it's also a note of Zach Millet. Obviously, he's gone from back to front, back to front, back to front, as he is now currently sitting in 8th spot. See if he can get back up to that top 5. Obviously, all these cautions here have really been helping him out as he's slowly made roads. Has used a caution and then gotten back. Obviously, 3rd, currently 8th. High is 1st, low of 34th is where he elected to start this race, or as they qualified in this race, as he is looking to try to get that 31 and be the lead Pied Piper this weekend for Bowie Esports. So we'll keep an eye on Millet here as we'll ride on board with him entering the restart zone. Keep an eye on the RPMs. Green flag is out, and away we go again. And big move up front. As you see right there, you can see a little bit of the stack up. There's a reason Knowlton jumped right in front of Hagen. Keep them going from side to side in the 1. Millet is going to elect to try that high line here. Look at that fresh air. No one joining him on his lane. Will not get the run he needs, though. 28 in the wall. That will check up a little bit here, as Pinnell will cause Millet to fall back there, and Wansing will be the main beneficiary on the inside. That's one of the risks of being on the high side. If a car checks up or drifts up a little bit, you may end up being in the wrong spot if needed. Take another shot here of Zach Millet. He'll elect to go low here this time by to get around that 28, which you got to do sometimes at these tracks. So when a car takes your lane, you got to be willing to explore and change your line in order to find a way around. He will successfully put himself up to 7th. You know, up front, while we're watching this battle, John Hagen has gotten around Connor Knowlton. So Hagen is now taking over the lead of this race. As you can see right there, it is a fight behind him. And we'll keep an eye on the MPH and the RPMs here as they head off into 1 and 2. And you'll be able to tell as they shoot off here. As we'll go silent here for a second. Pretty much a lift with a little small tap of brake. And we have another quick caution. It's a 92 who's in the wall, James Mendez, who elected to come down for service, and it may have been the wrong call as he got kicked back with the Hornet's Nest, and he will now have to basically have some damage here. So we'll take a look here and see what exactly happened. Don't see any other slow cars around him, so was it a single car incident and he came back up, or did he get some assistance? Oh, he did, and it's the 19 again, as you'll see coming up here, Marshall Harris. So Mendez holding the high side, Harris comes up, both get into each other there. And just 2 drivers fighting over the same piece of real estate. Mendez comes low right into Edward Marshall's front end. And that just gives the final send over the 92. He will hit that inside wall. Obviously Mendez, we'll see how much damage affected. And luckily it was only really driver's side. Don't see a toe link majorly broken on that 92. So overall, though, it looks like he'll still be able to continue on at the very least. There is John Wood. So I believe he will be the lucky recipient of the lucky dog here, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, he's also had a very eventful day, but he's really struggled to get outside the top 30s as he suffered damage early, as you can see by the crunkled nose on that 88. And he's slowly gotten himself back in position. And actually, I don't think he actually will get the lucky dog, as he is coming in this time by. The lucky dog was actually the 6 of Brian Rupert. So Rupert will get, actually not even Rupert's getting, regardless, as we see service, everyone electing to come down here. trying differing strategies, at least a little bit further back. Up front, it is still Hagan, Knowlton, Adams, Tucker, and Morse, your top 5. Actually, we can confirm the lucky dog now. I was a bit mistaken. It's the 32 that's going to be getting on the lead lap here of Murciano. He will be, Murcio is going to be back on the lead lap here for Smeal Racing Designs. So he'll now be back on the lead lap, giving us 29 cars on the lead lap here. With actually 30, because Jared Merchant's also lead lap 2. So 30 cars on the lead lap at the moment. So he'll now join the lead lap parade. Next car, obviously a lap down, is Jared Wood, who, if we get more cautions, he'd be the next beneficiary to get a lucky dog, bearing he is not involved in it. So as we get the 1 to go, this time by, lights are out on the pace car. John Hagan and Connor Knowlton will be the front 2 here. Obviously a bit of a role reversal from the last restart. Knowlton was on the low side, John Hagan was on the high side. Now it's the opposite, with Hagan on the low side, Knowlton on the high side. Steve Tucker, Jonathan Adams will be row number 2. Connor Morse and Zach Millett, row 3. Seth Wansing and Cody Pinnell, row 4. And Mike LaJoy and Galloway will round out the first 5 rows here. They take the green. We'll have 47 laps remaining in this race. Pace car will take the trip down pit lane. Control will be on that Tar Heel number 1. Into the restart zone, and away they will go again. Green flag out in the air, and Knowlton again, quick lane change there. Going high to low quickly to try to get into his preferred lane. See right there. Oh, Wansing evasive action. Almost got in the back of someone there. We have him spinning on the back. Looks like it will be a checkup. Connor Morse, the unlucky recipient, he will get pounded in the back as he will get hit by McDonough. And that will be the next caution. So we obviously saw a little bit from the far shot there. Bit of a slide issue happening there. I'll have to take a look at it again, as obviously didn't get the full picture from where we were watching. We saw Wansing and Morse having a bit of a tango there. So we'll take a look here again. Obviously, this is the end result of it. And we'll see. I'm going to guess the 3 is going to get loose here, as he's right now currently ahead of Wansing in that number 5 machine. We'll get the eye in the sky camera out. Slow it on down as well. Ooh, yep, you can see him getting a little loose, fighting it. Wansing trying to get on the brakes there. He will end up hitting the 3. Then the 3 tries to correct it. It shoots up the road. He clips the 5 right in to that 25 machine. At that point, just trying to get around him. And then Morse gets piled in by McDonough. McDonough ends up giving a bit of a body shot to the back end of the number 3. So obviously you can see the effects of that as the 3 obviously just limping down pit lane here. He, along with McDonough, are both going to end up getting EOLs here. So their damage is definitely severe enough that they're going to have to elect to pit here under emergency service. Seth Wansing like to come in along with LaJoy. Mike LaJoy was also the other car there on the high shot that ended up getting into that incident as well. So 29 up to 25. As he will also come in to fix up that damage being involved in that incident. 28 also had a piece as well, so you can add him to the list. So Cody Pinnell, Connor Morse, Michael Joy, Seth Wanzing, and McDonough the major incidents of that caution. So as I was speaking a bit earlier, this is actually beneficial for John Wood, as he will now go back on the lead lap, and he will now put himself 1 lap down. Again, the quick caution, he will be back on the lead lap. Sorry, Ethan Wood, he'll be back on the lead lap. And that will put us now, if he can get back in the lap, it will be 30 cars in the lead lap. But currently, still sitting P30, but only car at the moment, 1 down. So we're getting to that point of the race where we are getting close to not needing a green flag pit stop. Obviously, again, window would be about 110 to 113, 112 to comfortably, well, obviously make it pretty much if you go till the tank runs dry. Obviously, any more cautions in that window, and you basically looking at good to the finish line. So if we get 1 more caution, we may even see a driver elect to roll the dice here and stay out to the finish line, but still a bit of a Herculean task to make it with the current laps remaining. So still 1 pit stop looms for most of the field as we see Ethan Wood taking service, as that is his right for being the lucky dog. He'll get to come in and start at the tail end of the longest line. So up front, it will be Connor Knowlton and John Hagan, first row. Zach Millett, Steve Tucker, row 2. Matthew Kent, Jonathan Adams, row 3. Galloway and Brandon Featherplace will be row 4. Chris Gones and Brian Dixon round out your first 5 rows here. So is going to travel down the pit lane here. It's going to be on the control of John Hagan. Green flag is out, and away we go. Great launch by Hagan. You can see Knowlton spin the tires a little bit, and he will not have the ability to do what he did the previous 2 laps and jump down low. He'll have to stay on that high side and try to ride it out until a hole will elect to open up. Tucker will clear for second. You can see now Connor Knowlton electing to go low there on that battle second, but John Hagan currently getting at least that clean air and using that benefit to see why he's been one of the dominant forces in tonight's festivities. A little bit further back, there's Mike LaJoy, and you see a few cars elected to come in. Looks like penalties presumably for these 2 cars. 32 involved of Murchino, and the other one, Connor Morris, obviously spent a pit lane for over 3 minutes, so he is not that. Ethan Wood also in as well, so bit of a heartbreak. Brian Rupert also came in as well, so heartbreak for a couple of them as they were looking poised, especially in Ethan Wood's case, to get back on the lead lap. But up front, Hagan pulling away, but we keep an eye on second. Millett, we've told to keep an eye on him as he is slowly pouncing forward here, a low side of the 2 of Connor Knowlton, as they're battling hard for third here. Still side by side at the moment. You do not want to allow the leader to get away here. You want to make sure you keep them within the distance, because the further they can get away, the more opportunities open to them. They can try different strategies, go a little bit longer, get the fresher tires, and have less of a gap to negate. So you want to make sure you keep the close, and in turn make the leader have to play a different strategy they may not be comfortable with, or give in turn yourself more of an opportunity to try a different strategy. More cars coming in as well. I shouldn't say more cars, the same cars I should say. They're now leaving the pit lane. I do gotta say, Knowlton taking advantage of his opportunity. Obviously was marred in traffic throughout most of the first 2 stages, now finally using this kind of opportunity with this green flag running to really flex his muscle here. So he's now putting a good challenge on Zach Millett for third. Millett gonna hang it on low here, and now he'll be well clear, and he'll slide back up. So Millett up to third, Knowlton down to fourth. Real battle on here. Looks like a couple cars coming in here. Obviously, nothing really of note. Mendez being the only name here. I saw it pop up on the chatterbox, but Mendez is currently sitting in 26, so not overly noteworthy. Looks like Nolan also going to get passed there by Adams, but maybe a bit of a no, because they're not teammates. So just overall, just maybe letting it go here and fighting his own battle. Maybe saving some stuff here because we are close to a window. So again, if you can go far, get the tank to go a little bit longer, it opens up the book of strategy. But we saw 2 tires didn't really work for Millet in the previous stage 2 running, so almost feels beneficiary to try to cut the stage in half and take advantage of those 4 tires. Speaking of Millet, you can see right now hounding the back of Steve Tucker. This is kind of a point of Steve Tucker. You basically have to get going here, or you're going to get passed by the 31. Tucker feels confident on the high line. 31 of Millet going to hang it on low. So he'll be side by side heading off at 2. Side by side, obviously Highline going to have the prevailing speed here off corner exit. So they can get in the throttle a little bit earlier. Oh, Millet and Tucker touch just a tiny bit. Clean touching. And Tucker still use that Highline to his advantage. And this is all what Hagan likes to see in his mirror. His main competition fighting side by side here. Neither really giving each other an inch. And Tucker maybe sensing maybe it's not the best time to fight right now when that one is getting away. Will like to lick his wounds. Will pull back in the third. Try a different move down a little bit later down the line. See right now getting a little bit peeky, getting a little pokey, just saying, hey, if you make a mistake, Tucker, I am going to make a move through. He's staying on behind. Obviously looking at the times we'll see here this time by without full pressure here, see what the speed differential is. As obviously in the damage of pack was not that much of a difference. Hagan ran a 32.96, Tucker ran a 33.04, and Millet ran a 33.09. Fastest car on track was Hagan, but Jonathan Adams second fastest. As we see Millet going to go high here. Try to maybe do the switch of the over-under. Coming across the line as we see him side by side. Obviously a role reversal of the previous battle. Theoretically will play in the Millet's hands as he'll have the drive off, but Tucker going to go aggressive, going to close the door on Millet. Not without a little bit of an argy-bargy. And again, John Hagan is loving this in his mirror as it now is opened up to 1.2 seconds and growing. As these drivers are fighting hard for second position. That's allowed Adams, who was second fastest last time by on track and was again second, actually top 5 quickest last time by, as he is now sitting comfortably in 4th in his Castlevania machine. So we see in the far shot right now, obviously the main battle we're watching on is there, but you can see a little bit of some battles further back. Feather Place, and it looks like Gones fighting for 8th and 9th respectively in the wide shot. There you can see right there, Feather Place, Gones, and Cody Pannell. Obviously, Feather Place, another driver that's had to climb through the field like Millet, had to spin early on. Chris Gones, obviously an open car, didn't have his seat guaranteed at the table coming into the night. He's showing why he can always be a threat to make it into the show week in and week out, as he's currently sitting inside the top 10. But further back, we got the 84 Brent Roberts, another driver who's had a very interesting day. Involved in an early incident, has kept that car relatively clean since then, is knocking outside the top 10, battling with Patrick Oberstadt for 11th and Steph Wanzing right there. You can see right behind in 12th position. While we watch this battle, so keep an eye on the timing and scoring board. Zach Millet has gotten around Steve Tucker. So Millet's now up to 2nd. Tucker is now down to 3rd. But they still have 1.3 seconds to make up to the race leader, John Hagan. Steph Wanzing, obviously right now, battling for position with Brent Roberts. They are currently side by side. Former teammates last season, this season no longer teammates, actually 2 seasons ago I should say, as they are now both in their own independent teams, and they're putting this battle out on the racing surface. They both got around Chris Gones here, who's lost a bit of speed here. Now Patrick Oberstadt firmly inside the top 10, as you can see in that number 60 Fastenal machine. Ben Roberts now in 11th, and Wanzing got the short straw there. Actually, I think, yeah, Joseph Wanzing elected to come in here early, so my mistake. Actually, he will come on in, and he'll be the first of the major runners to try to go for an undercut strategy here. Do not dislike this call at all, as it is an interesting choice, as obviously you can't win it from 12th position, so try a different strategy. Go long, use the fresh tires, and try to get that track position and really go on out and just try to get something happen here. A few other cars coming in, you see peeling off the line. Matthew Kent is firmly inside the window, so you can make it presumably here, and with how many laps have passed, you probably also got at least a green-white checkered to boot if you need it. So Matthew Kent also in as well. Further up there, looks like Feather Place was in a bit of a battle there with Cody Pennell. Yep, they're side by side heading down the backstretch here. Actually, it wasn't. Pennell was actually behind this. It is the 05 and Brandon Featherplace. Bad position, a little blink there. Featherplace, it's always sketchy when you got a car blinking on your high side, not 100% knowing where they may be in the corner. Just got to kind of leave space and leave it. Blake Galloway, obviously, he's also had an interesting race. High of 3rd, low of 26, currently 7th. Just gonna, yeah, not get the runoff he needs. Featherplace being consistent. He will clear Galloway. Saw Galloway pop up on the radio box here. Wonder if he's coming in or if he was just saying something to Featherplace. Yeah, he is coming in this time by. So Featherplace will pit along with Steve Tucker. Steve Tucker was inside that top 3, so this is noteworthy. Tucker is going to be the first of the lead contingency there, along with Millett, Adams, Hagan, and Knowlton to come on in. So this puts the pressure on those 4 drivers, and they will have to think, do I want to come in and cover that off? Or do I think it's better to go a couple more laps here and truly stretch it, as we have now hit 25 laps to go? Battles and Adams, so Adams will come in, he'll cover off Steve Tucker. Knowlton, Millett, and Hagan will go another lap here. Obviously, the longer you go here, the advantage you'll have is you'll have fresher tires, obviously, for the last short run to the finish. And in turn, if you get a late caution, theoretically, you could try to stay out and keep those slightly fresher tires, while the cars coming in early will have to definitely come in for service to have fresh tires to have any chance of catching up. Looks like Oberstadt coming in this time by, along with Cody Pennell. They will both pit respectively. And John Hagan in, almost got punted by Millett, but Hagan will successfully get in. So Millett, we know, legs going long, and he's electing to do it again here. We saw him run out the fuel tank to end stage number 2 and took 2 tires, and it did not work out for him. So I wonder, does he feel confident with that strategy again? Does he want to roll the dice, cover off Hagan, maybe take an extra lap, get 1 lap fresh tires, and try to do something different? Millett, Knowlton, Featherplace, Gones, Verdron, Hawk, George, Merchant, and Pennell with all yet to pit. So top 9 yet to take service, and there you'll see the 31 come on in. Ooh, late break there, was very aggressive on the line. Sometimes the only way to really make up times, but Knowlton will stay out along with Matt in the 00, Davey Hawk, and Alfred George. Merchant, Pennell will also stay out as well. So top 6 have yet to pit. And there's Connor Knowlton. Talked about that strategy, played at stage 2. Should be coming in this time by, according to the radio chatter. But he played great strategy. He stayed out, got enough cautions that he was able to basically recycle with the leaders, and he's taken this opportunity and ran with it. Still currently inside the top 5. Just has to make sure he keeps it clean here, or else he may get some more penalty points on his license. He's in, and he'll successfully get in as well. I'm keeping an eye on the exit. Obviously, Millett's on the access road right there. There's Matt Verdron, as he will now take over the race lead. And Hagan will basically be well clear of the 31. So Hagan will recycle in the lead when the top 4 will finally make their stop. They do have a little bit of ways to go. Obviously, Verdron and Hawk both pitted at 96. George and Merchant pit at 101, along with Ryan Pennell. So it's about a 5-lap difference. Obviously, about 126 is 30 laps, so they will presumably be within the next, give or take, 3 to 5 laps. As we see right there, switch over to 21 laps to go, now 20. So there'll be about 18, 17 laps, while we got Merchant, George, and Pennell, who, if they run the fuel tank out and elect to run it out, they would probably get in about about 10 laps to go if they really stretch it. So it's going to be a bit of time before we see, presumably, Hagan in the field come back around. Obviously, Hagan is making good times. He could even catch the back of Merchant Pennell before pit stops occur. Speaking of Alfred George, there he is in third place in the Freaky Fast number 40. Obviously, he's ditched the Pennzoil colors for this season, is now rocked back with the Jimmy John's colors. It almost seems like he switched his allegiances from Joey Logano to Kevin Harvick, as now you can see him on the high side right now, just keeping it consistent, keeping it high, hoping maybe an element of strategy plays out here, and the luck machine can play out in his favor. He's sitting in third. There's John Hagan, 23 seconds back to the leader. So on the lead lap, top 10 all in the lead lap. Matthew Kent, the first one down in 11th. But he, along with Wanzing, Knowlton, Featherplace, looking to get around soon. Actually, that's worth noting, as Knowlton, just checking his time box here, he had a relatively normal stop along with Adams, and Kent and Wanzing both made that long strategy work, as they are both presumably going to cycle in just inside the top 5. But obviously, they're going to have the oldest tires in the field by about 5-6 laps, so they're going to have the hardest fall off. But at the very least, they can save the tires. You can see right there, Knowlton get a little loose off the bumper, the 34, maybe on his own. Still trying to save it, still trying to save it. Gonna go low. Oh, it's coming back up. That's gonna be a caution, as he's gonna hit right into the 60, and that is not gonna be pretty. And there's a point there where you wonder if he should have just woed it down, let it spin, like that has been the theme of the night. We talked about drivers just having to woe it down, sometimes just let the spin happen. Obviously, he would have went down pit lane, but would have been a clearable penalty if that happened. But obviously, Knowlton this late in the race, he's not going to want to concede that spot. Because at that point, he's got to be careful of backing up. Looks like he'll be successfully able to do so. But just got to be careful. And he tried to save it, kept trying to save it, and eventually the thing kicked. I do want to take a quick look here as we watch the replay. I'm wondering, did he get any help early into that spin, or did he lose it on his own? So we're watching here in accordance, obviously right around Galloway, Blake Galloway, and Featherplace. Obviously, Knowlton was... This has been about pigeonly P5 when the cycle pit through, and we slow it down here. Oh, yep, Featherplace got into the corner panel of the 2, and Matt got the 2 loose. He has it saved, still loose, saved, loose, still fighting it, still fighting it, still fighting it, and eventually it just kicks right there. At that point, he's coming up the road, and you just hope he doesn't get hit, and bam, right into Patrick Oberstedt, I believe that was, along with... that was the Night 2 machine as well that ended up piling in. And you can see right there, Knowlton just kind of just wondering, good run gone to waste, as he's just stopped waiting for a clean opportunity to back it back up. Take a second look here, this on board following the 34 this time. Actually, we'll go a little bit further back. We'll focus on the 40 of Alfred George. He's going to have a pretty good view of this. So watch the line. Obviously, he was just behind this positional battle. Obviously, just came out of the pit. Actually, was battling in second position as these cars just unlapped themselves, were on the road to unlapping themselves. There's the spin, still trying to save it, just up the road here. And there you can see him go low, go high. You can see right the 21 backing out quickly up the road. George goes low, and yeah, as clean as you like. But you can see right there, obviously the first pack had the incident, caught into the second pack, and Alfred George skate on through with minimal damage. Actually, no damage, I'd say, as he will now elect to come on in and take service. So Alfred George will come on in along with Verdon and a few others. Obviously, with this being a situation in turn, because that will lead 1 lap, so give him 1 lap. Obviously, there's 00, who is staying out long in the tooth. And you can see him right there as he will now pull over to the side and let some of the cars get around him here as they cycle on through, with some cars staying out and others coming in as strategies play out. Obviously, that caution caught some of these drivers in a bad spot, as the field only got up to about 15th in the cycle before that caution came out. So Murkowski, Battles, Gones, Fleming, all got kind of caught one down there because of the incident. With how they're currently cycled, I do not think any of them are really in a position to, yeah, they are currently buried back there, so they will not get the wave around here. So they will have to drift to the back. So overall, just a bad incident for some of them, as now they are pretty much in a have and have not battle. But we'll focus now on the front. The 2 titans of the season we expected coming into it, the high 2 overall draft picks of this year. Well, yeah, I mean the high 2 overall because Dale Murkowski was the first pick, but the 2 highest on the draft board, I should say, of Zach Millett and John Hagen. There'll be 1-2 here. Then it'll be Tucker, Verdon, Hawk, Roberts, Adams, George, Kent, Merchant. Your top 5 rows here. Pace car pull-off run. It will be a 15-lap dash to the finish, and away we will go. Good launch there by the 1. Tucker and Millet will continue their battle here as they head off into 1 here. This is where the strategy of running it dry worked out as the 0-0. We've shown it. Quick caution there, and it will be... I don't see anyone around yet on my box.
Messer's already there.
Your guess is as good as mine here. Looks like it may have been... No.
Yeah, we're trying to see where this happened here. This is... Not everyone was caught up.
Yeah, I don't see anyone around. Obviously, we watched the replay here. Oh, there's the checkup. Oh, there you see the 11 of Rupert get a little loose.
The 11 or the 6?
The 11 of Brian Rupert.
The 11 is Josh
Oh, sorry,
Battles.
Josh Battles. Yeah, Josh Battles and the 11, 6 of Brian Rupert. Yeah, number change. Thought it was him that got a little loose. No, I don't think it was him then. Who exactly was this caution for? Oh, I see who it is now. It's the 15th of Matthew Kent. He gets in the wall. He collides with Elfridge George. That's going to be the cause of precaution here.
I say it didn't pop up as an actual incident on our screen, so we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, same thing here as well. So this is going to be Matthew Kent keeping an eye along with Elfridge George. And yeah, speed differential.
Yep.
That's 2 cars on the racing surface, so that will be the cause of the caution. So Wanzing, Kent, Galloway, Nolan, George, and Merchant all coming in this time by, and they will all come in from 11. So obviously, Kent was basically P11 because of how it cycled out. So because of the weird situation with obviously some cars getting pinned down, some getting pinned high, still technically a net gain, even though they were all involved in the incident, but they have minimal damage. They'll technically keep their spots as no one will really get the wave round because of John Hagen, obviously currently ahead of all the cars that were 1 down. Unless he were to pit along with the rest of the field, that will pretty much pin from this field 1 down.
Norton was the free pass recipient. He was the first car lap down, so he is now back on the lead lap here. You know, now everyone 17th on down will be a lap down, so that's Dale Markowski on down. Markowski, Battles, Gones, Fleming, Mauricio, Dixon, LaJoy, Lawrence, and more. All a lap down here as we are going to go green with 10 laps to go.
Oh, we're going to get delayed 1 lap here as Connor Nolan was slow on the backstretch there. Connor Nolan stopped on the backstretch. I think he was just letting someone go, though, so we'll get delayed 1 lap to avoid any confusion. So we'll then get 10 laps to go this time by. We'll take the green with 9 laps to go. Hagen Tucker will be row 1, Millet and the 0-0 will be row 2, Roberts Adams row 3, Hawk Pinnell row 4, Feather Place, and Cody Pinnell will be the first 5 rows. Now, obviously, it's still very early on in the year. Obviously, it's only race 2, so you do not have to be overly aggressive per se. But with the schedule being a lot shorter, only going to be set 18 rounds before the playoffs. Obviously, that will be in July when the playoffs, well, last round the playoffs start, and obviously there'll be some off weeks in between. But 18 rounds is not a long time in Infinium, but at the very least, it gives you some time. So if Millet or Tucker or Hagen, let's say one of them don't find victory lane, it will still be plenty of time to rebound, tracks will fall into the range. It's not go or go home yet for a lot of these drivers, but same point, some of them having poor 500s or didn't show up for the 500 or something in between. This is a situation where a good finish can dig you out of a hole, and maybe for some drivers that are poised to find victory this season, but at the very least could in turn run good here, they could put themselves in a spot where they could be competing for a bubble spot. Looking at drivers right now having good runs like the 21 of Hawk, Ryan Pinnell in the 12, obviously you said Fordron in the 0-0. Obviously 3 drivers have been great spots here. Obviously, Featherplace had a good recovery drive. Cody Pinnell doing good in 10th. Yeah, overall, just a lot of good runs here for some of these drivers that caught the strategy right. And they can really capitalize on this if it stays green. And for some, this may be a good chance to find victory if it plays out right. But they'll have to find a way around that dominating car of John Hagan, who's led over a majority of tonight's festivities.
Going to 9 laps to go here in the Black Acid 220 in Homestead-Miami Speedway. It's Hagan, Tucker, Millett, Vorndren. Your top 4, Roberts, Adams, Hauk, Ryan Pinnell, Brandon Featherplace, Cody Pinnell, your top 10. And once again, John Hagan with just an amazing start to get this party started once again. Anyone catch up to the one car and get around him? Millett's going to give it a shot. Down the back straightaway. Into 3 and 4. Tucker still in tow as well. 16 cars on the lead lap. As was the case at Daytona, unlimited overtime attempts here in Homestead. We used 1 at Daytona. We only needed 1.
If you're looking for the best drivers for a chance to take to the 1 here, as we see side by side there, Millett and Hagan. Millett, Hagan, and Tucker have been the drivers in the same postcode of lap times with that number 1 machine. So they would theoretically have the best chance here, both in the 32.80s, and have set personal best. Hagan with the fastest Sector 2 that time by, but Hagan still leading at the moment as they come off of 4 here. 7 laps to go, and yellow is out. It's the 40 of Alfred George, is a bit slow out of 4, and we're seeing other drivers check up there. Actually,
lane.
Oh, okay, it's not him. Then 16-2, they're slow. Oh, multiple cars involved. Fleming, Pinnell, Mendez, Rupert, Wright, LaJoy. Just take your pick. It reminds us of the opening lap incident where I'm going to guess someone got loose, shot it up the road, took a lot of cars with them out of this possible race. So we're focusing on Fleming.
Yeah, this may have been a little bit further ahead. If we're looking at, like, Ryan Pinnell is where this could have started. This is Pinnell, and it looks like Markowski potentially in the middle of all of this.
Oh,
yeah, Pinnell just gets
it.
Really loose. Just gets completely loose.
And he's fighting for the lucky dog here, and he's now not going to get it because of this. You can see right there in the Fleming down in this Neil Racing Designs machine. Yeah, Rupert, and just rest of the cars fighting through.
It's a rough time there. Ryan Pinnell obviously on the lead lap, but so his floor is a pretty high floor because he's just not going to be a lap down, but not a great omen to end the race on for Ryan Pinnell. No, he's going to have to basically just drive a limping race car around here.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't have a repair flag, he is just going to probably stay out here, or just come in and stay on the lead lap, try to get it repairable enough. Obviously, there's Fleming down pit lane. Pit lane is a crowded place. Kent, Pinnell, Merchant down pit lane.
Ellis George came down on his own. He was avoiding the accident as it was happening.
Got it.
So he wasn't a part of it, thankfully.
Yeah. Because I saw him slow, and I was like, I figured, obviously, it was just a car parked there, so I was wondering if he was the cause, but he was not. So George keeping that freaky fast machine in pristine position, as he will stay out here and just avoid the incidents. Obviously, with these shorter laps, this is playing presumably in the John Hagan's hand here, as less time for Millett, Tucker, and the field to try to catch that 1. They probably need a little longer than, because we'll get the green here with 4 laps to go. Obviously, if we get another caution before to the finish, we presumably will trigger our first green-white checkered attempt. So, obviously, can Millett and Tucker have to try to beat the restart god tonight of John Hagan, as he has really timed those restarts well. And they'll have to try to find a way to beat him on the jump. Zach Millett will be the lamb here that will challenge Hagan, as they will be in row number 1. Tucker and Roberts will make up row 2. Veron and Featherplace will be in row 3. Adams, Pinnell, row 4. Wanzing, Galway, row 5. 17 cars on the lead lap, as Ryan Pinnell will be the last one on the lead lap here. If we get another caution, again, just pick a name out of the hat here. You got Ricino, Markowski, Dixon, Lawrence, LaJoy, Battles, Fleming, Overstott, and Wood, all on the 1-down crew, along with Edward Marshall. Actually, John Wood is 3 down, Marshall's 10 down. So it's Oberstadt on to Regino will be, so 18th to 25th will be fighting here if another caution were to come out to be the recipient of the lucky dog, bearing they are not in the incident. 32 cars still running on the circuit. David Wright last of those, 32 laps down, and we have over 10 DNFs here tonight. It is showtime. Hagan's been doing these restarts well. They'll have another opportunity to do so as they come off of 4 here and enter the restart zone. Green flag is out, and away we go. Good launch by John Hagan as he is now away, well clear of the 31. And Millet will keep second here. Hope we can get cut up there as soon as we can here, as we have 4 laps to go here. Hagan, Millet.
Yeah, keep an eye on Hagan trying to break the draft big time, trying to break the draft, really trying to work the space. Remember, unlimited overtime restarts if we need them. 3 to go. 4.5 miles. Millet drives to the white line. Hagan up near the top. Really close there. Hagan trying to break the draft, making sure Millet doesn't have any momentum going into 3 and 4. And caution. Out. Here we go.
It is going to be the 92 who stopped on the backstretch.
Yep. James Mendez.
James Mendez, obviously, he's had a very rough last stage here as he was looking poised for a good run, and now it will go up in smoke. He is now on the backstretch.
It looks like Jared Merchant also got a piece of it. We're going to see why. This is the 92 of Mendez. Oh, he just really was in the middle of 2.
Just kicks, and then obviously stops on the race surface. No one else will pile in as he's pretty much far back. So single car, but obviously in position. I guess caution was thrown there as iRacing deemed it a incident. Now 68 a little slow too. So
well, the issue is that Mendez is wrecking in front of cars.
Yeah.
So he's on the racing surface too. Yeah, and Merchant
just goes low to avoid.
Yeah, so he's not really a part of that. He's just slowing down to let Mendez get back around him here. Yeah. So Merchant not a part of it, but Mendez, a one car serious crash, will force us a reset, and we will be moving now into overtime, where Hagan will now have to try to once again keep the 31 at bay.
And it takes a while to gear up, so I'm wondering what Millet is going to have to time this restart right. I think it's going to be his best chance, as at the moment, 2 laps doesn't seem to be enough time to really gear up a charge. Brian Dixon in his Bowie Esports machine, he will now be back on lead lap, giving us 17 cars on lead lap. Figured I said that name before, but looks like obviously with some of the cars in the incident, and that is shifted around. So still 17 cars with Brian Dixon now on the tail end of the line. So if we get another one, again, going to be a big fight between a handful of cars to try to get back on the late lap. Theoretically, with unlimited attempts, there's a reality where that happens, but let's hope we do not pass into that reality, as I do not want to be here all night. So John Hagan, Zach Millet, they'll be in row number 1. Steve Tucker and Brian Roberts in row 2. Jonathan Adams, Brandon Featherplace, row 3. Verdon and Pennell, row 4. Wanzing, Galloway will be the first 5 rows. Marshall has also now elected to pull up behind the wall, so add him to the DNF lineup here, as he will now add another car to the graveyard. Obviously, no choose cone in effect here, so Hagan will line up on the low, and Mill will be on the high side. Tucker Roberts will then obviously go high, low, high here on out. Hagan, really, regardless if he's been on the low or the high side, has been good on these restarts, but so it's just going to be timing. Millet's going to have to basically guess where that one is going to go and hope he fires off, because if the one, and the thing is, the one is, tentatively speaking, has changed his starting point different times at restart. He's not been consistent. He's been in the zone. He's gone here. He's gone here. He's gone here. He's basically like a baseball pitcher, if you will, going fast, then slow, going fast, then off speed, fast, and then this, just changing up his stuff to keep the cars guessing. So we talked about in the pre-race, it's about adaptability and using it to your advantage. Well, Hagan knows how to make those mind games work. The question is Can Millet guess right and hit a ball outside the park, or at the very least, give himself a chance? They can see a pitch that could allow him to hit the ball outside the park. We will find out shortly here as pace car is going to get on ready here. Just out of 4 to pull on off. It'll be on John Hagen's control here. Car pulls on off. Green flag is out and away we go, and Tucker and the inside line move a little bit more quickly here. Hagen will cover off Millet and he'll go to that high wall side. Tucker with the best chance. He is at the moment clear of Millet as they head off into 1 here.
Yeah, everyone's going to be really pushing hard here, just trying to see if they can get around John Hagen.
Tucker will jump up right in front of Millet. Millet going to hang high side. Tucker going to have to go low here. This is what Hagen wants to see, battling back and forth. They get to the white flag. Race will be official with the next flag thrown. They come off of 4.
Yep, there you go. This
and
is
it's official.
1 lap to go here in Homestead-Miami.
Incident in the back. Incident in the back right. Cheeseburger Lawrence getting an incident. We do not matter. We will go green to the finish. Hagen, Millet, Tucker, your top 3. Millet and Tucker still fighting hard here for second as they are going to allow that one to skate off into the distance here. Other cars fight further back, but it's not going to be enough. As long as Hagen doesn't mend it, he will be looking poised to take his first win this season. Coming off of 4. And John Hagen will see the checkered flag. Millet will come in 2nd, Tucker 3rd, Adams 4th, Roberts 5th. But your Homestead-Miami winner is John Hagen. Just dominating performance, win in and win out. Just basically, I would say destroyed the field. He's had some competition, but he's made those restarts work for him. He's made the run work, and obviously you can see on the stat board there, 95 out of 149 laps were led by John Hagen here. Just a great performance, showing why, as you can see, little congratulatory bump there right in front of the 21. So drivers showing their congratulatoriness and end up spinning the race leader. But shows you why he won the championship here at Homestead. I think the only thing you're probably wondering is Hagen right now is wondering, why couldn't this been the finale race this year too? Well, at the very least, though, he locked himself into the playoffs. As long as he makes the mandatory races, he will be fighting for a championship again come playoff time in July. So John Hagen, your race winner of the Black Acid 220, as he's going to do some celebratory burnouts here. As you can see, Adam's going to simply join him, or at least think about joining him, as he will now come down the front stretch. Yeah, John Hagen led over 63% of this race, so not 2/3, but well over half, a comfortable half. So John Hagen showing why he has the 1. He will now add win number 1 for the season number 2 of his racing career in A squared. He will add another board, now up to 10 wins total, as he had 9 last season, now up to an even 10. So John Hagen, your race winner here in his Carolina Tar Heels number 1.
Just a reminder, we have Bristol Motor Speedway next week, racing on the dirt. Gonna be a lot of fun there for you there, Kevin. And then it's Auto Club on March 9th, and then March 16th we go to Old Atlanta for St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun indeed. Worth noting, obviously, we talked about the calendar before the season started. A lot less plate tracks than last year, so overall, only 3 in the regular season. Obviously, that New Atlanta halfway through the year, and Talladega is the cutoff race. So overall, though, it's a very mixed bag the next 3 weeks. You're going to have dirt track racing, 2-mile-an-hour speedway racing, and the bumpy concrete jungle of Atlanta that eats tires for breakfast. So you're going to get your fill of different styles, and I would generally say a lot of these drivers field, you can say some have that dirt race circled, others have the Auto Club circled, like Michelle's a good example of that. He'll have that definitely circled along with some others. And then you got Atlanta, where you'll see drivers like maybe Wanzing and some others have that circled as well. So got different tracks playing in the different drivers' hands, and have all those chances to show their muscle in these next couple weeks. Obviously, as we do have as tradition, we'll have the top 3 interviewees joining on in here in a second. See if they're all fired in. It looks like they are, and we will head on down to Victory Lane, and we'll hear from our race winner, John Hagen. John, this is Kevin in the ABM booth. You got a copy?
I do. What's going on?
It's going gone as well, indeed. Obviously, we talked to you 9 times last year. Why don't we start off this year again, making an even 10? So, obviously, we got to start off the beginning. You seem to have a fast car here at Homestead, and you seem to be a track you're very strong at with multiple wins in multiple disciplines. What makes this a track that's so strong in your wheelhouse?
I honestly don't know. It's like there's nothing special about this track that is required to go fast. You don't have to know something cool, and I don't know, maybe you have to hit your lines right, I guess. I really don't know. This isn't a special track. It just works. This setup was nice. You could really explore the top in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, the bumps were too big, but 1 and 2, you could really use it. It was actually faster. So I qualified at the top 1 and 2, bottom in 3 and 4. So yeah, it was awesome. But I mean, just point towards the bottom. Make sure you're not using the right front on exit. That's how you're fast around here, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Obviously, going third on the race, you were pretty much up there leading this race at one point, about 63% of this race. So that one was very hard to not miss. And if you weren't, you were in the top 5 and basically top 5 throughout most of the night. So moving third on, I do got to ask this question as well. Looking at the race, restarts seem to be what your strong suit was. So any kind of knowledge in those restarts, or again, was it just repetition and skill paying off there?
Or like restarts when I'm leading?
Yeah, restarts when you're leading, because even when you weren't leading, you were still getting decent restarts. So any tips to that one at the very least?
There's a box, and people can only go so many places in a box. That's how I did it when I wasn't in the lead. It's like, you get a feel pretty quickly if somebody's going to go early in the zone, and you get a feel pretty quickly if they want to wait. For me, I do my best to make it so you don't know. I'm going to be, as soon as my nose touches one, go, and then 3/4 of the way into the box the next, and just make people guess, I guess. And you really got to commit to the throttle and the punch on the restart.
Yeah, definitely like a pitcher, definitely throwing his repertoire there. Moving further on, obviously we get to the final restarts there. We get pretty much a good battle between Tucker and Millet, and then we get a late restart and another late restart there. And take us through that last restart there. Obviously, you were pretty good at restarts. Were you under threat probably by Tucker or Millet, or do you think as long as I got a decent restart, I'm going to sail off in the distance? So what was your mindset for those last 2 laps going to the checker flag there?
I was on 2 tires while everybody behind me was on 4. I took 2 under green, so I was a little freaked out, I guess, about them having a little bit more drive on corner exit. But really, once I got that punch and I got out of turn 2 and I had space, as they were side by side, and it was pretty easy sailing from there.
Yeah, it was very interesting because we saw Millet take 2 and he sank like a stone on those restarts. So obviously 2 really worked out for you. So that's very interesting indeed to see out there. So 2 tires definitely played out to your perfection. Obviously, last question here is looking at obviously the counter coming up. Obviously, you won here, bearing you make all the rest of the races, unforeseen accident, whatever, you will be in the playoffs. So looking at these next 3 rounds of Bristol Dirt, Auto Club, and Old Atlanta, what of those 3 races feels like it's plays the best in John Hagan's wheelhouse?
Old Atlanta, for sure. Give me a track where I got to save tires and you got to hit your line lap in, lap out, or you're going to kill your stuff. That's my wheelhouse. I love Old Atlanta. Auto Club is also going to be plenty fun, too. It's a bit draftier, though. Bristol Dirt, I'm going to suck. I wouldn't be surprised if I finished 20th. I hate dirt. I'm not a big fan, but we got to run it. It's on the schedule. So don't expect me to win next week. If I do, I'll be hooting, hollering, and screaming because I shouldn't have won it. But yeah, looking forward to the 2 after that.
There's one thing I've learned here is you come in here sometimes before the interview and say, I'm going to do bad at that track, and next thing you know, you find a way to win. So I don't think I'll count you out on any regard, even if you have one arm tied behind your back. But we've gotten to the point where there's any of you want to thank family, friends, whatever, sponsors. Take it away. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Shout out my beautiful girlfriend letting me race and being supportive whenever I do. Catch her in the ARCS, Wives, Girlfriends, Significant Others race promo, March 15th. Shout out SRD and the whole crew at SRD. John Smith, of course, for drafting me and putting me in this ride and trusting me. The rest of my teammates, Mercurio, Knowlton, and I can't say his last name, Matt. Shout out them. Shout out y'all at HTL, I'm so dumb. Shout out y'all at ABN for putting up the broadcast. Thank you for the wonderful broadcast. And shout out ARCS for putting the league on.
Well, it's been great talking to you, John Hagan. I don't feel like it'll be the last time we talk to you this season. But regardless, you take care and have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
And that will pin us on nicely. There was John Hagen, our race winner. I think we'll move down the order here. We'll talk, presumably, to Zach Millett next here. So we now pull him in. Zach, this is Kevin the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, not much indeed. Obviously, first time we talked to you this season as well. P2 for you, but obviously well on the pathway to trying to find victory throughout the year. So we'll start again. I asked John Hagen the same question. We'll ask somewhat a similar question to you. As it seemed like, at least during qualifying, you kind of had a bit of a poor run. What happened during qualifying to put you so far in the back?
Oh man, I completely botched that. That was really bad. I ended up smoking the wall off for it. I was just getting kind of sidetracked, trying to get the stream all organized and wasn't really paying attention, so I kind of deserved it. But yeah, I think I should have been right there with Hagen, give or take a half a tenth.
Mm-hmm. And we saw, because of that, you had to dig your way in and out of holes. You went front, and then something would happen, you go back. You go front, and you go back. And we saw that more importantly in the second stage, where you went long in the tooth there, tried the two-tire strategy, came out behind Gaiman and Hagen, and then ended up kind of sinking like a stone. So how did the car feel on two tires? We saw some drivers work to success, but it seemed like you struggled a little bit on two tires there.
Oh, it was even worse than that. That was no tires. I came in, and the whole strategy was just to do a stop and go. And for some reason, my race labs didn't want me to do that. And when I slid into the box, I went from 2.5 gallons up to 10. So I had the amount of time of tires, but I was working on no tires. And the way it would have cycled out, I think I probably would have been up there pretty good. But yeah, it was bad on no tires.
Yeah, you would have cycled out probably ahead of those two, but obviously with no tires and the excess fuel load explains why you went down. So obviously you went back, you came front, and we're keeping an eye on you. We're carving up, and then we get to the last restart here. Pit stops happening, and you got in second and third. And we saw you have that battle with Tucker. So overall thoughts on your battle with Steve Tucker as you guys were fighting hard for every position there over those last 30, 35 laps.
Yeah, we were just talking in the green room there. Yeah, it was really close. I was telling him I wish I could have had a long run where I wasn't trying to catch up every time between the qualifying, and then I ended up speeding on pit road and just kept shooting myself in the foot tonight, and I don't know, every time I was up there, I was either on a little bit more worn tires from trying to catch up. But the last couple runs, man, I was really hoping it'd stay green. I felt like I had a pretty good pace there at the end. So with the restarts being, on the leader, it's just so hard to time it when you're up there on the top side.
Yeah, we were kind of spitballing that in the booth, assuming that it was going to be a bit of a tough point. So that brings by one of the last two questions here. Overall, with that last green-white checkered attempt there, did you have anything you think for Hagen, or were you just kind of hoping Hagen would make a mistake somewhere?
I think we did. I think we would have had a pretty good chance. I had to either try to guess the restart, and I mean, you know how that can go. You can either ace it or you can really botch it. And I didn't want to, have the risk of completely throwing the race away and, maybe not even getting a podium. So I tried to time it best I could, tried to hang with Tucker, and Tucker timed it really well, being behind the lead car. So it was, once I got past Tucker, I mean, I had like one corner. So if I had a couple laps at it, I think we could have got there.
Yeah, and that definitely showed on out. Last question, obviously, looking at the calendar ahead, we got Bristol Dirt, Auto Club, and Old Atlanta. I asked Hagen the same question. I'll ask you the question. I'll probably also ask Steve Tucker the same question. If you do attend all those three races, which one thinks that plays in the wheelhouse of Zach Millett the best?
Honestly, I like them all. I mean, I haven't done Bristol Dirt in a while, so we're going to have to kind of relearn that. But yeah, they're all kind of even across the board for me. I like them all.
Right. You're a person that's willing to take a challenge and take any challenge that seats fit. And gotta tip my hat and respect to that. But anyway, we've gotten to the point of the interview. If anyone want to thank family, friends, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
I definitely want to thank you, and at APN, you guys do an awesome job. Can't wait to go back and watch the broadcast. It's nice to be back in ARCS A2, man. I'm glad the season's going. Again, big thanks to ARCS. Thanks to all the admins that make the league possible. Track Limits Network, Track Bar Media, that S4 guy on Twitch, Team Conti Sim Performance, and all the viewers on your side and mine. Thank you.
All right, great talk, Zach Millett. Obviously, again, I don't think this will be the last time we talk to you, but regardless, you take care. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
And that was Zach Millett, our second place finisher, and that brings us with one driver remaining, the third place finisher, Steve Tucker. We'll bring him in now. Steve, this is Kevin the ABM booth. You got a copy?
How's it going?
It's going good as well. Obviously, we saw you had a decent qualifying to start off, and overall in the run, you were pretty much kind of yo-yoing between upper echelon to middle echelon. So you kind of have the best experience along with Millett. How that car? I'll ask you this question: how was the car in the third year? How was the car around there racing in the packs? How did it overall feel out there?
For me, it was pretty tight, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't. I don't know. Corner entry for me was kind of rough. It was tighter than I would have liked for sure, and that kind of killed my right front a bit. And then it just led me to have some bad corner exits. But I mean, overall, it wasn't terrible. When I was back in the pack a bit, I think I was at 17th at one point. That was pretty rough. But the outside lane worked to kind of get around people, and I don't know. It just kind of evolved to to get me back to the front, so I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. You definitely were one of those drivers that was definitely in the hard charging category. Moving further on, obviously stage 1, stage 2, you're kind of up in front battling with Hagen and Millet. And it seemed to be, while we watched the race, you were one of those drivers in that kind of echelon that you could say, like, in the next point where you could say best chance at winning and then so on and so forth. I guess I'll ask this point here. With the runs we had, do you think at a point you were stronger than Hagen, stronger than Millet? You think you had to really up there to really take a chance to win this race?
I don't think so. Hagen seemed pretty strong the entire time. I didn't have his long run pace for sure. Millet was only really a player around us about second half of the race, I feel like. And even then, he just had a better, was just overall better, I feel like. We were even, I would say, for the most part, but he maybe had an edge. But yeah, I mean, we tried to sneak out in front in stage 2, lead some laps, get those extra points, and just see maybe does the clean air make a difference or does it not, whatever. So we tried some things. Second stage, it kind of killed our tires, and then we got further in the pack, but worked our way back to the front in stage 3 and throughout that and made it happen. So I mean, hey, I'm super pumped about a top 3, especially with these top talent guys.
Yeah, you definitely shown some muscle here. Obviously, you kind of hitting the point where obviously I was talking to Zach Millet earlier about how you two were just battling throughout those late runs and giving each other all with respect. You're having a great battle there. Taking us through, speaking of that battle, we got to the final restart. Take us through that mindset. And obviously, it was the leader had really the best chance to go, and you timed it well. And it looked like you had a chance coming off at 2, maybe to get a run on Hagen. So take us through that final green light checker attempt from your perspective. And what was your opportunity? Did you feel like you had a chance to get around Hagen there?
Maybe from the cockpit, I really didn't know where I was, but he had better runoff, especially on the high groove. I felt better down low when I was up high in turn 1 and 2, especially late. I had the car gets kind of snappy loose, and I just naturally put too much wheel input into things, and I thought that might have put me around. So, I mean, I kind of played it safe a bit. We're still early season. I'm still kind of feeling things out, and I don't want to make any enemies, So I'm just looking to get good finishes, and if it was there, it was there. I didn't think it was there. He was just faster. Last lap, I caught Millet pretty quick out of the last corner, and that killed my exit. And then I don't know who was behind me. Roberts, maybe? I'm not sure. But
Roberts was in that pack along with a few others.
Yeah, so I ended up finishing 3rd across the line next to somebody. I'm not sure who that was. But yeah, it's all good. I mean, honestly, the Harpoon Design Machine had a good day today. P3, back-to-back podiums, after Daytona last week. So I'm not going to complain. It's a good start.
Yeah, it was a good start indeed. It's definitely fun to watch there. You were, I believe, side by side. I'm just checking real fast. It was Jonathan Adams that was side by side with you for 4th. So both of you, obviously, Adams, another strong driver throughout. Obviously, I've asked the previous to this question. I'll ask you the same question as well. With the next 3 cards on the calendar being Bristol Dirt, Auto Club, and Old Atlanta, what of these 3 tracks fits into the wheelhouse of Steve Tucker, who could maybe find victory in that number 24 machine?
Auto Club will definitely be a contender. I know that. That's just historically one of my better tracks. Old Atlanta I've always liked. I've got a couple wins there, a couple other league wins there, so I feel comfortable. It's been a while since I've done that, but I feel good. Bristol Dirt next week, we might have to chalk it up to I don't know, experimental at this point. We'll put some laps down and see what happens, but I'm not feeling too confident there. But yeah, I think you'll see more of us for sure. Like I said last week, you're going to see us more on the podium, and today we kind of backed it up. So I feel good.
Well, overall, you feel good, and sometimes you race good, and it definitely showed out tonight. Obviously, we got to the point. If anyone you want to thank, family, friends, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, of course. I mean, definitely want to thank Harpoon Design, the sponsor on the car. And, can't do much without these guys. These guys are fantastic, Brantley over there. So go and check them out, Trading Paints. Look them up. harpoondesign.com as well. So want to shout out Raggy Racing, the teammates over there, and for the league here. Awesome people to run up against and talk with and whatnot. And so far, yeah, great season. So want to thank just everyone who makes this happen. Thanks to you folks who put on the broadcast. And yeah, on to Bristol Dirt.
Indeed. Obviously, again, it's been great talking to you. Obviously, again, I said that the other two, I said to you too, I don't think it'll be the last time we'll talk to you throughout this year. Hopefully, maybe we'll be with a checkered flag in your hand. But regardless, you have a good rest of your week, and you take care as well, Steve.
Thanks, you too.
And that was our third place finisher, Steve Tucker, and that will round out tonight's interviews as the top three have all gotten their say on the speak. Obviously, as we have alluded to, the questionnaires, next week we are going onward to Bristol Dirt. Obviously, Carmen is going to be staying in Florida a little bit longer. Actually, first we'll go for the results here as well before we do the sign-off. John Hagan takes the race victory with Zach Millet. Obviously, you can see his starting position to where he finished. Again, great drive. Steve Tucker third, Jonathan Ems fourth, Brian Roberts fifth, Brandon Feather placed sixth, Seth Wanzing 7th, Matt Verdron 8th, Blake Galloway 9th, and Cody Pennell rounds out the top 10 with Davey Hawk, Connor Knowlton, Jared Burchant, and Brian Dixon rounding out the top 14th, all on the lead lap. Moving further down as we continue on our merry way, we would have Matthew Kent, and he'll be the last of the lead lap. With Dale Markowski, after getting pinned with a caution, could not get back on lead lap. And it will be the same state for Riley Murchio, Josh Battles, Michael Joy, Chris Gones, Michael Lawrence, Alfred George, and Ryan Pennell, who actually did avoid the incident but got involved in another incident and ends up finishing 23rd, one lap down. Chris Fleming, 500 winner, will finish 2 laps down in 24th. Lacey's got that win in his back pocket. Patrick Oberstadt will finish 25th. Ethan Wood, 26th. Colin McDonough, 27th, who is basically just surviving with damage. And then we'll get on to the retirees here with Edward Marshall, 28th. Then moving further on, Bryant Rupert obviously was actually not out of the race along a few others. So Brian Rupert 29th, James Mendez 30th, David Wright 31st, Brian Messer 32nd, Vincenzo Icavazzi 33rd. Then we're getting into the retirements. Connor Morris 34th, Marshall Harris 35th, Austin Mongol 36th, James Kerr pretty much out of this race, even though he never truly retired. He'll be firing off 40th. I guess Josh Gaiman was 37th, and then it's a little mungled here, so 37th would be Josh Gaiman, and then 38th, Martinez Jr., Kyle St. John, 39th, James Kerr, 40th, Pelletier Sharp, 41st, Elliot Lognecker, 42nd, and Kevin Feemster will pick the wooden spoon here, 43rd. He, along with Lognecker, dealt with connection issues early, and in turn will finish out. And obviously, Johnson, Pressey, and Dila did not take the green flag, as they obviously did not make the race, being the 3 cars that got bumped before the race started. Now, I'll get to what I was saying before the results there. Obviously, next week, we are going on A Squared here again, 7:05 start time. We will be here on the A Squared YouTube channel. We'll be at Bristol Dirt, where the A Squared competition will be trying in the 3rd race of the season to try to master a short track with dirt on the ground. And we'll see who is the lucky driver. With a lot of these drivers having dirt background and dirt proficiency, it should allow some drivers to run it up through the tops. Also, throughout the ABN family networks, obviously, Champ Car starts this week as well. They'll be at Sebring. Some of the faces you've seen here tonight, they will be racing there, trying to win a race on Sebring. And obviously, also next Sunday on Twitch, I believe it's going to be, Winstell will be starting their season as well, at least be at one of the races their season, and that will be on Twitch. I think Carmen will obviously fill in the information if she's got anything else to add for that event.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot going on here in ABN as racing begins in earnest. Obviously, you covered YouTube being a big thing. Really, the only thing going on YouTube this week is A Squared next Sunday at Bristol. A lot of stuff happening on Twitch, though. The ABN Champ Car World Series, 8 p.m. on Wednesday. That's on Twitch. Saturday, we have the VRR, the GT World Tour, the V8 Supercars. They'll be racing in the rain at Watkins Glen on Saturday. That's 2 p.m. there. And then obviously Sunday, 7:45 p.m., the start of the Winstell Cup season from Daytona. I won't be able to ever escape Florida, it feels like, but we'll be there. So we'll have two different things going on Sunday at the same time. And then later this month, actually into March, so in February, we have the PEC 8 hours of Nürburgring on March 8th, which is right here on YouTube. And then later on in March, we have the ARCS High Octane Series, Saturday nights, 8 p.m., beginning on March 22nd. So a lot of stuff going on this month. So make sure you join us on both, so you can keep up to date on everything going on around ABN and around ARCS and everything in between.
So overall, for myself, Kevin Young, you're joined by Carmen, Sienna. It's been great providing the Black Ass at 220, but we move onward, and we hope you will join us there. So for everyone here in the ABN booth, we are signing off. So thank you for joining us, and hope you all have a good rest of your evening.